Hey, good morning, everybody, and it is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful morning, gorgeous morning, 55 degrees, pleasant, if you like warm weather, high of 85. We'll get into that in a minute. But first of all, welcome to Breakfast with Roger and Friends in lovely Peoria, Illinois. And we say good morning to Terry Chamberlain. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning.
Good to see you. And our sports guy 24/7 on Tuesday, Mike Olson. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Roger and Terry. Nice to be here.
Nice to be anywhere at this
with our fine listeners.
Yes, you know it, and you're going to be talking about it pretty soon. We're finally going to put to bed in the next week or so professional basketball and hockey.
And hockey both, right? They're in their finals, and we'll talk about it.
Hard to believe when they start in September, October?
Well, they start training camps usually about the middle of September, and then they play some exhibition games. But by the first week of October, so it's October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. That's 8 months, and we are into June.
We're into June, yeah.
Into June.
Just in time, though, and just in time for the start of the Heart of Illinois Fair. Oh, that's right. We don't have the fair. You know, last year we went because they actually advertised.
Yeah.
Not much, but
Not much,
they
but
said, and we went, and there was nothing there. I said, that's false advertising.
Well, I go by that intersection. I live on Teton, and I go down University probably 2 or 3 times a day during the summer. And the last 10 years, you didn't even know the fair was going on. I mean, we didn't have a Ferris wheel.
It's pretty pathetic, wasn't it?
And I mean, I didn't turn up north more. I just kept, it's just, but you could see the grandstand and the activity going on. You could see parking, of course. They parked all over the place at one time, and
oh, it was wonderful.
They parked even across the street of, they parked where the post office is. And St. Vincent's made some good scratch by
having parking.
They had paid
what
parking.
did you pay? $5 a car,
like
something like that?
Back in the day, maybe $1 or $2 even in the 70s.
Yeah, I actually went one night because my wife said, I'm in the mood for, I don't know, was it a pork chop sandwich or whatever it was that they had at the fair that we loved. I said, I'll go out and see if I can't just go in and pick up some food and come back. And, of course, the people at the gate were very nice. I said, I'm not here. I just want to get some food. Is that okay? And I said, go ahead, Roger. And I went and got the food, got it in the car, and that was before Dash.
And Your day.
You were Dash.
Yeah.
You were dashing yourself.
And took it home and had a good meal. But, when you look back on it, it's really, it's one of those activities that you really miss, at least from my standpoint.
Well, it was a big deal. There was no civic center at that time.
No.
So when you would see, big name entertainment.
We saw real good
50s,
entertainment.
60s,
And it was free.
Yeah,
The grandstand show was free.
Yes, it was. And they had an early show and a late show usually.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I don't
they had like
remember
a
that.
7 o'clock and then like a 9 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, and didn't you just love to watch the Candy Man?
Oh, he was entertaining.
Making, what was it?
Taffy.
Sam the Candy Man.
Man.
He made the fudge.
Homemade fudge.
Yeah,
And then
fudge,
the
yes.
saltwater taffy thing has always had those big machines doing the
going
taffy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was, and they had usually some entertainment. I know my dad did some log rolling out there a couple of years for him.
I didn't know that, really.
Yeah.
They had, they had to have big
Well, they
vats
get, they
for
get,
that.
they get a big pool with some metal sides.
And
on
he
it.
participated in
Oh
it?
yeah, he did.
Your dad did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow, I wish I'd seen that because that's a real art.
Oh, I tell you, the saying I always tell people when they start talking about log rolling competitively.
Yes.
Step on a log out in the water And man, you better get your feet moving because you'll be in the drink before you even take your first step.
Well, let me point out, when you get to my age, you feel sometimes like you're on a log in the water.
In the water, up to your throat.
Say, whoa, 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 that's a little hard.
No, that was, and then he did the.
Good for your
what was
dad.
that, Sunday in the Park or over at Glen Oak? He worked Glen Oak a couple.
In the lagoon?
In the lagoon,
I'll
yeah.
be doggone.
And he worked.
Did he do any of the climbing of the
No,
the
he
poles?
didn't. He never was
Yeah.
in. He was just he was one part of the show up in the headquarters for many years.
Hurry.
Was in Hayward, Wisconsin.
Johnson.
Hayward?
Hayward.
I thought Hayward was in Minnesota.
It's pretty close. It's right.
Yeah.
I would say it's at least no farther than 50 miles from
Yeah.
Minnesota, but it's Hayward, Wisconsin.
I'll be doggone.
It was
Interesting.
a big.
Well, that was wonderful. Did your dad get paid, or did it for
was-
the fun of competing?
He got paid. It was a professional activity.
I'll be doggone.
And
Well,
he-
that's something.
He got second. He got
he's-
second in the world about 3 times. He could never beat one Canadian
I
guy.
did not know that. Was that on his obituary? Did you point that out in the obituary?
Yeah, a little
No.
bit. Yeah,
No.
just the fact that he was a professional. But you know, there's
Interesting,
people
so-
that log rolling started up in the UP and other places on out west because somebody had to break the log jams occasionally.
Yep.
So how do you?
Yeah.
There's
somebody had to go.
Where's the bridge?
Yeah. Oh, wow. That had to be a high-risk job.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You fall off of there,
And
next thing you know, you're in the sawmill.
rolling down the stream, baby, waving your hands like somebody else.
Hey, you got it.
Well, and then I say proudly too, my brother Rick, who's deceased, he actually won. Well, my dad won the junior world championship when he was a kid up in Gladstone, Michigan, and my brother Rick won it at Hayward a couple times. And I really believe if we had stayed in Michigan and Rick continued to do it and work out with the,
He'd be a national champion,
He'd
too.
have been a champion, yeah.
And
He was
it's
the best.
fascinating to think that in the winter you skate on it, and in the summer you float on it.
Well, that's it. It's just so easy, and and I wasn't very good at it. I was more. I'd go to baseball all the time, and my brother Rick would go with my dad. They would practice all summer long.
Where'd they practice?
Just
Not
like
in the backyard.
No, they practiced in a little like a yacht harbor of one of the little towns called Gladstone, Michigan. There was a
Interesting.
professional that lived in Gladstone, and they had some logs there that used a special log. Of course, you weren't just using a tree stump of some sort, and they were turned, and you had a little spike shoes too. There's always a little
Yeah,
bit more.
and they had special shoes, right?
Special shoes, yeah. It was almost, they would get like bowling shoes and then they called them corks, little corks in them that would stick out about.
I sent a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, those things that you slip on. They've been around for years.
Oh, yeah.
On your shoes during the winter.
Yeah,
to
they're pretty
help,
good.
and I never used them, but I thought, well, if we ever get to the point, maybe I would wear them. It might give you a little false sense
Yeah,
of security, though,
still-
too.
Well, yeah, you don't go sprinting across. You still walk
No.
very gingerly. Because
Yeah.
I had a pair, especially.
Did it, and they worked? Did they?
They
for you?
worked,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought about in the old days, you could wear your baseball spike shoes.
Sure you could.
And now aren't they mostly plastic?
All
Hard
the
pass.
way up, all the way up.
Yeah,
I don't think you
yeah.
can even wear metal in high school anymore.
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay.
But one thing too to get along that. What about when you used to put the chains on the tires?
Oh, yeah, I
I remember
that.
that.
I remember
And
Dad doing
them,
it, but
I
yeah.
remember them coming off, too.
Oh
and
yeah,
what a
they would come
nightmare
off,
that
you'd
is.
wear 'em off with
'Cause sometimes they got around the axle, and that wasn't good. Well, it's a different time of the year this morning. Let's move on with news, weather, and sports, as we do each and every morning. And we don't mind telling you our weather this morning, brought to you by our friends at Spoon River Home Health. Finding the right home care team can be somewhat of a challenge, but not if you choose Spoon River Home Health. That's the company founded by registered nurses more than 30 years ago. If you or someone you know is in need of loving care in the home, the staff of Spoon River are ready to meet that need, and you can reach them today at Spoon River 309-245-0723. Well, it's going to be a warm one, Mr. Grinch. Sunny and pleasant today with a high of 85. Overnight low tonight, 55. Tomorrow, another sunny 85 day. Thursday up to 88 degrees, and Friday sunny with another 88 for a high. And here's the good news. Chance for showers beginning Friday night, continuing over the weekend, Saturday night and Sunday. And right now we're at the double nickel, 55 degrees. And now the news with our lead story. Here's Terry.
A deadly shooting in Muscatine, Iowa yesterday. 52-year-old Ryan McFarland went on a rampage, shooting to death 5 members of his family, 4 at one location and the others at 2 other locations. When he was confronted by officers on a walking trail, McFarland fatally shot himself. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see.
We're
4
up
and
to
2, 6.
Up to 6, aren't we?
Yeah.
5 members of the family, 4 at one location, and 2 others, so 7. Duh. President Trump says he's convinced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to halt plans to attack Hezbollah targets in Lebanon after the terrorist organization agreed to stop attacking Israel. However, Israel has said its military operations in Lebanon will continue. So we have a little difference of reporting by 2 top news reporters, Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump.
In the latest news in the war with Iran, the president is apparently seeking a permanent ceasefire. That's what some national media outlets are reporting, but that hasn't been confirmed by the White House or Trump's social media platform.
The U.S. Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C., often referred to as very liberal, has ruled the military cannot bar transgender troops from serving in the service. By a vote of 2-1, the court said such a ban is discriminatory. Judge Robert Wilkins, appointed by President Obama, said the Trump administration was motivated by a desire to harm a politically unpopular group, but he offered no evidence for his opinion. Just made a statement, and it stands.
There's a big election in California today for governor and mayor of Los Angeles. Appears to be tight races in both contests. Republican Steve Hilton has a chance to become one of the 2 top finishers in tomorrow's primary. Democrats believe Xavier Becerra will be their top dog.
The race for L.A. mayor features reality TV personality Spencer Pratt having a pretty good chance to upset Democrat Karen Bass. Both offices, by the way, have been tightly held by Democrats for years. There have been major scandals lately, and that hurts the Democrats, including the failure to rebuild houses following wildfires and a dramatic increase in the number of homeless on the streets of Los Angeles.
A former nurse at the University of Michigan Medical Center is under investigation after posting a video threatening to kill President Trump. Rhonda Lee posted a video that contained obscene and disgusting rhetoric, saying she wanted to slit his throat. Meanwhile, federal authorities say they have identified and arrested the young man who said he was going to kill an ICE agent and his family during a rant at the riots in Newark, New Jersey.
Riots at the New Jersey Center that holds illegal immigrants charged with murder, rape, and other criminal violations are continuing despite a number of arrests. New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill says many of the agitators are from out of state. One of the complaints of the rioters claim the illegals are receiving bad, poor quality food. Shame on them if true. At any rate, we're going to talk about food behind bars with Peoria County Sheriff Chris Watkins, 7:30 this morning, so stay tuned.
In other local news, Tazewell County Coroner Charles Hanley has identified Arlington, Illinois resident Jeff Foster as the fatal victim in the collision of his motorcycle with a pickup truck early Saturday morning. Hanley said the accident happened on Route 9 near Mackinac. Foster was pronounced dead at the scene. Peoria
police report the arrest of 45-year-old Aaron Cook in the attempted robbery of the 5-Star Fish and Chicken Eatery on Campustown May 25th. Cook left without any money or fish. Good police work led to Cook's arrest 4 days later.
Police also arrested 23-year-old Micaiah Baker after she allegedly stabbed a man in the stomach Sunday afternoon following a domestic dispute. Police found the victim in a house on North Sleepy Hollow Road near Mossville.
Let's look at some of the stories we're following. You know, this is a great time to consider buying your next home. Realtor Kathy Reynolds of Home Smart, eager to help you search the marketplace. Kathy is experienced and has helped countless couples, families, and individuals find their dream home. She's available to discuss the exciting opportunities in real estate today at 309-696-2162. That number again, 309-696-2162. Now more news from WCBU.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Rich Drager. Illinois lawmakers passed a $56 billion budget along party lines early this morning as financial pressures led to mostly flat funding. Democratic State Senator Dave Kaler, who represents parts of Peoria and Bloomington-Normal, says this year they focused on maintaining funding for existing programs. Kaler says they had to put more money into programs like SNAP because people could lose benefits.
There's uncertainty at the federal level that makes a big difference. So this budget is the best that we could do in this time, given the circumstances that we have faced.
The budget now goes to the governor's desk. Peoria County has a new person in charge of running its elections. Jessa Lee Joseph was appointed executive director of the Peoria County Election Commission earlier this month after nearly 4 years as assistant director. Her office handles voter registration, ballot creation, voting equipment, and training the judges who staff every polling place on Election Day. Joseph says her measure of success is simple.
A successful election is a boring election, and I say this because really you don't want to be noteworthy in elections.
The November 3rd general election is now about 5 months away. Peoria County is getting another $1 million in federal funding for pre-construction design and engineering on a project to improve Radnor Road on Peoria's north side. County engineer Amy McLaren says the upgrades are needed to handle an expected higher traffic volume over the next decade.
We're looking at improving the pavement and replacing the existing ditches with storm sewer, curb and gutter. We're going to include sidewalks and other pedestrian accommodations.
The full project is expected to cost more than $20 million. Central Illinois Congressman Eric Sorensen says Illinois should welcome data centers, but only with strict conditions. Sorensen says any facility coming to his district must produce its own renewable power, use household wastewater, and be sited away from neighborhoods. With WCBU News, I'm Rich Drager.
Let's get into the world of sports, and the guy who knows all about sports is standing by, Mike Olson. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Good morning to all of our fine listeners. Well, high school athletics takes big stage this week. The Dunlap Eagle girls softball team won the East Peoria Super Sectional yesterday, beating a good Providence Catholic High School out of New Lenox, Michigan, New Lenox, Illinois, up by Joliet, 1-0 at East Peoria. Diamonds over at East Side. They will now play in the state tournament this week. They're going to travel 5 miles. They're going to go from Dunlap
Yeah.
to the Louisville Slaughter Complex. You know, we're going to state, all right.
Yeah.
We're going to state. Graded. Where are we going this year? Champaign or up to Northwestern? Charleston, yeah, where track is? No, you're going to.
Yeah.
But it is a beautiful
Oh,
facility.
it's a beautiful
It's
facility,
a beautiful
yeah.
facility.
It's
It's
a
where
real,
Bradley plays their home softball games, and it's a stadium.
Really? They don't play at Bradley Park
No,
anymore.
they quit that.
You're
about-
kidding. They had a nice field. And you know, it's just a short distance, almost a walk from the
yeah.
Bradley campus.
Well, let's
What
put
happened?
it this way: they walked some nights that distance down to
Oh yeah.
Farmington Road
Yeah,
there
yeah.
and visit
Was
some of
there-
the watering
was there-
holes.
Was there a reason? Because it was the Park District did a good job of laying it out
Well, you know,
for the Bradley girls.
it'd be interesting
women's
at some
team.
point. I haven't heard much talk about it, but you know, according to some of my sources, the actual contract for Bradley when they quit playing at Mine and Field baseball and went to Dozer Park was a 25-year contract. Well, that started in 2001. We just finished 2026. And unless my math is wrong, and I taught math for 30-some years, that's 25 years.
Yeah.
And I was good friends with Dewey Kelmer, and I know they were paying around $75,000 a year on the initial contract
For
for
Mine?
Dozer Park,
Wow.
that included their fall practices.
Well, sure, and
then their
guys
game.
who were landscaping the field,
Yeah.
taking care
They
of it.
don't know. The field was, well taken care of, and they put a whole new field grass in last year.
They did.
Looks very nice. But what I'm trying to make
$75,000.
is, they're not going to get it for $75,000 a year anymore.
No.
Not if that was 20. It'll be more. It'd probably be closer to 100.
So they moved the Bradley team over to East Side.
Well, it could. Yeah, I mean, I think
At least the women's play.
went to Louisville Slugger.
Bradley did.
Bradley.
Okay.
Well, they were at Bradley Park and went to Louisville Slugger, the Bradley women.
I see.
Softball.
Okay.
And they've been out at because I've
The
got
Louisville Slugger, and that's
Yeah.
where they play their Valley games.
Yep.
Did not know
And
that.
they've been doing that for at least 5-6
Now
years.
that's in the dome, right?
No, they've got a
Outside?
stadium. They've got a stadium. When you come,
I need to go out there.
you need to go out there. You make a right into the Louisville Slugger complex, and the first field you see on the right, you'll see the grandstand, and you'll see the lights. It probably seats 1,000.
Would you consider Louisville, though it's a private enterprise, it's not a park district project, it's kind of an answer to East Side and East Peoria for this side of the river?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But the difference
So,
is
but the difference is that the men's team continue to play at Dozer Park.
Dozer Park, right?
And that is a
It's a
fantastic,
fantastic park. They once again though, way off of campus,
Yeah.
and they don't draw. They have a little. When the weather gets nice, there'll be a little bit out there. But boy, in April, there's not.
Are you old enough? Were you in Peoria when they played baseball on campus?
No, I missed it by
Yeah.
1 year. 1 year.
1 year, that's too
That's
bad.
it, yep.
Do you remember what was in left field, just next to the outfield fence? A house.
houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, houses.
And
Yeah.
you hit a home run. It was not unusual to hit the house, and you're worried. I'm sure they told the people, we got to have a game today, so don't use your bedroom or use that room.
You're in the line of
Yeah.
fire.
But it was neat because it was on campus.
It was right on campus. People could walk by
Yeah.
between classes or after classes.
Yeah, I watched many a
Yeah.
game there. I watched my brother pitch and shut out the University of Illinois 4-0.
He could do it. He could do it. In baseball, high school baseball, 3 Middle Illini schools, East Peoria, Metamora, and Dunlap, are all in the Washington sectional starting this Wednesday. On Wednesday at 4:30, East Peoria will play Metamora, and at 7 o'clock, Dunlap gets to play Joliet Catholic Academy out of Joliet. And like I told somebody the other day, I was at the Dunlap-Morton Regional Championship game. Dunlap, when they won, now they'll get to see how good Joliet Catholic's recruiting was this year.
Didn't Dunlap pretty well pound Morton in that game?
10-0.
Yeah, was not a close
It was
game, was it?
one of those games that got away from you that
Yeah.
Morton's better than that. They are. And it was just, it's kind of like the Rivermen losing the last game of the year 6-2.
Losing 3 in a row.
3 in a row, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it just.
That was heartbreaking.
Some days are not your days.
Yeah.
It's just like life.
And the show.
It's just a subculture of our society. And then the other thing I have is the Metamora boys track team won the state tournament down at Eastern Illinois this past weekend.
Had some good athletes in there.
So our local teams are, like say Dunlap just beat one of the better softball teams out of the suburban Chicago area, I call it. When you start talking about Providence Catholic, it's right by Joliet also. It's
Sure.
called New Lenox, but doing very well in the state playoffs. Yesterday on the Major League Baseball diamonds, 2 games that I think many of our people are interested. The Minnesota, Twins 9 and the Chicago White Sox 6, the Texas Rangers 2, and the St. Louis Cardinals 1. Tonight's action, the White Sox will again be at the Twins at 6:40. Texas will still stay in the Lou to play the Cardinals at 6:45, and the Athletics and the Cubs will go at it tonight up in Wrigley Field at 7:05. In high school girls soccer today, Morton High School will play Waterloo High School at the Chatham Glenwood 4 p.m. in the super sectional. So Morton girls soccer will be trying to get to the state tournament this weekend. If they have this opportunity to win the super sectional today. Good luck to the Morton girls softball program. NHL hockey gets going again tonight. The final series of the Stanley Cup, best 4 out of 7. The Las Vegas Golden Knights will be playing in Raleigh, North Carolina against the Carolina Hurricane at 7 p.m. in North Carolina. NBA Finals open tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, the New York Knicks are in San Antonio against the Spurs. That's at 7:30 p.m. And that's sports on WAZU 90.7 FM in lovely Peoria, Illinois. And it's on the worldwide net with breakfastwithrogerandfriends.com, youtube.com, Roger care of Roger and Friends.
Yeah, you go to YouTube by going to Roger and Friends.
Yeah.
Do you do .ls or is Roger and Friends LS? Yeah. Anyway, we don't even know how to get to it. Everybody else
We're
does
here.
for us. And we have a nice audience watching and listening to our show right now. Who are you rooting for in hockey? Vegas?
I like Carolina.
I do too.
I like
you know,
Carolina. They play pretty much hockey, and they're fast and aggressive.
yeah. And you know, I can't root for a team that really was put together by the top officials of this the hockey league at the detriment of the all-time, long-time members, the Blackhawks and the Blues.
Yeah,
and
Las Vegas was given too much of that.
Yeah, they sure
wanted
were.
it to be
They wanted to be successful, so they
in Sin City.
yeah, exactly right. For 10 points, what's the home base for the athletic baseball team?
It's Sacramento, California.
Yeah,
They call it Sacramento.
what a name, the Sacramento Athletics. However, they will, when the stadium is completed, be the Las Vegas.
They're going to Sin City.
Yeah, as well for that matter.
Well, they found these other teams. NFL, Oakland went to football. Oakland football went to Sin City. The Raiders.
Yeah, they're right. The Raiders are Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And let's face it, Oakland is not exactly one of the
They were-
great economic giant cities of the United States. The high crime rate and that area, and it's actually a beautiful area, is it not? In the Bay?
Right up the Bay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, my middle sister, Jane Golowski, actually lived out there for a number
She
of
did.
years. And, she was in a suburb, but it was an Oakland suburb.
Well, you know,
But what I enjoyed about it, I would get on the tram, and they would drop me off at the ballpark.
it really,
And you could-
okay.
you could
Like
get
you
in-
do at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, and you could get in for like this is in the early '80s. It was probably $5 to buy a cheap seat, and on an afternoon game, there weren't 5,000 people there.
I know, it was
I mean,
terrible, wasn't it? Yeah.
I'd
Like
sit-
playing a minor league team.
Right. I would sit sometimes by the, where the on-deck circle was, the dugout for one team, then I'd slide over and sit in the other. I mean, nobody bothered you. The only thing that bothered
Well,
me
there was nobody there to
the only thing
bother.
that bothered
bother
me,
you.
the few people that were there, a lot of them were smoking pot. Well, and I did
Oh,
before I knew what
wonderful.
pot even was.
Yeah,
I thought it was potty or something,
yeah.
Oh, you could, it was
You've heard the song "Love in the Air." This was pot is marijuana in the air.
marijuana in there.
It has the distinctive
Grass.
smell. Once you smell it, like
Oh, you can smell it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can smell it, you bet.
Sweet
Want to remind everybody, great show this morning. Our guests
Thank
include our farm advisor from Logan County, John Cross, who lives on a farm in Emden, Illinois. We'll talk to John
Nice guy.
in a couple of months. Yeah, great sense of humor. He laughs at everything we say, which I think is a joy for us. Dr. Gene Sidler will talk to us. And one of the things we're going to talk about is the danger of a human bite. And
Ooh.
that is not a small matter, and it's a very serious one. So we'll talk a little about take a bite out of your friendly ICE agent. And at 7:30, we're going to talk to Peoria County Sheriff Chris Watkins about what kind of food does he serve, since the ICE facility at Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey is under fire allegedly for serving bad food to bad people. To me, I think that works out fine. And also at 8:15 this morning, we're going to talk to Josh Bradshaw of Advanced Medical Transport. We haven't talked to Josh in quite some time. In the meantime, let's bring you up to date with some of the stories that we are following this morning. We'll start with the weather, brought to you as a service of our friends at Morton Community Banks, with over 50 branches across central and northwestern Illinois, offering a full range of personal and business banking services. Hometown banks, FDIC insured, so your deposits are safe and certainly secure. Look for the clock tower and you'll know they have time for you. Beautiful day today, a beautiful morning, sunny and pleasant, high of 85, overnight low 55. We're going to have so much fun today. We're going to duplicate the weather tomorrow. More sunshine and another 85 for the high. And we get a little warmer on Thursday this week, 88. Friday, sunny and 88. And a chance for showers, hooray, hooray, beginning Friday night, continuing over the weekend, Saturday night, and Sunday. And right now we remain at the double nickel, 55 degrees. And with our headlines, here's Terry Chamberlain.
Well, there was a deadly shooting in Muscatine, Iowa yesterday. 52-year-old Ryan McFarland went on a rampage, shooting to death 6 members of his own family, 4 at one location and the others at 2 other locations. When he was confronted by officers on a walking trail, McFarland bravely shot himself.
Oh, yeah. Take the big way out.
Coward's way out, yes. President Trump says he convinced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to halt plans to attack Hezbollah targets in Lebanon after the terrorist organization agreed to stop attacking Israel. However, Israel has said its military operations in Lebanon will continue. In the latest news, in the war with Iran, the president is apparently seeking a permanent ceasefire. That's what some national media outlets are reporting, but that hasn't been confirmed by the White House or Trump's social media platform. A big election in California today for governor and mayor of Los Angeles. Appears to be tight races in both contests. Republican Steve Hilton has a chance to become one of the 2 top finishers in tomorrow's primary. Democrats believe Xavier Becerra will be their top dog. The race for LA mayor features reality TV personality Spencer Pratt, having a good chance to upset Democrat Karen Bass. A former nurse at the University of Michigan Medical Center is under investigation after posting a video threatening to kill President Trump. Rhonda Lee posted a video that contained obscene rhetoric, saying she wanted to slit his throat. Meanwhile, federal authorities say they've identified and arrested the young man who said he was going to kill an ICE agent and his family during a rant at the riots in Newark, New Jersey. New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill says many of the agitators are from out of state. One of the complaints of the rioters is the claim the illegals are receiving poor quality food. We're going to talk about food behind bars with Peoria County Sheriff Chris Watkins at 7:30 this morning. In other local news, Tazewell County Coroner Charles Hanley has identified Arlington, Illinois resident Jeff Foster as the fatal victim in the collision of his motorcycle with a pickup truck early Saturday morning. Hanley said the accident happened on Route 9 near Mackinac. Foster was pronounced dead at the scene. Peoria police report the arrest of 45-year-old Aaron Cook in the attempted robbery of the 5-star Fish and Chicken Eatery on Campus Town, May 25th. Cook left without any money, or fish for that matter. Good police work led to Cook's arrest 4 days later. Police also arrested 23-year-old Micaiah Baker after she allegedly stabbed a man in the stomach Sunday afternoon following a domestic dispute. Police found the victim in a house on North Sleepy Hollow Road near Mossville. And those are the headlines. And we'll go through the weather again. It's going to be sunny and pleasant today with a high of 83, overnight low of 55.
You're showing signs of a real broadcast professional, knowing that I wasn't quite ready. You went to the weather. Good job, Terry. You're ready for CNN.
Thank you.
And we have our good friend John Cross on the line. He is our official farm advisor. Pays big bucks, and that's one of the reasons why we have John. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Roger.
Yeah. Is the weather delightful in Logan County as it is in Peoria County?
Yes, it is.
This
It's
morning?
a beautiful morning today. Yep.
Is this the kind of morning when you wake up and you lay there in bed and you say, "Thank you, Lord, I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing"?
That's exactly right. Yep, we appreciate that. The good weather and the good growing season, a lot to be thankful for.
Have you planted everything, and what did you plant this year? Watermelon, cantaloupe, what did you plant?
No, I'm strictly corn and beans. Yeah, everything's planted and everything's up and growing, and it's looking pretty good at the moment. Got in probably, I did anyway, the middle of April, around April 14th, and planted some beans, and got some heavy rain right during that time after planting the beans, and beans had a little hard time emerging because
Really?
of the crusty ground.
Well, really?
But so we got I would say for most farmers right in Logan County here, we'd like to have a little better stand in some of the beans, but all in all, they look pretty good. The corn was planted. We had a couple periods of heavy rain there after we planted the beans there late April, and most guys got a lot of their corn in the first part of May, and that looks real good. We got good stands in the corn, and everything's growing well now.
Yeah. You know how to answer if somebody says, "Hey, Cross, you don't know beans about farming." You say, "Yes, I do."
That's true.
Yeah. How do you determine, John, how many acres are beans and how many are corn, and which produces the greater margin of, shall we say, profit, or does that change year to year?
Well, it changes year to year as far as profitability for each crop. For me, it's pretty simple. I'm on a 50-50 rotation. I'm pretty close to 50% beans and 50% corn, so I just switch from year to year my bean field and corn field. So for me, it's pretty easy. Some guys push the pencil and try to project what they think, their yields and where the price might be, and maybe switch a few acres. Some may, put some corn on corn the following year, but I'm pretty much strictly in a rotation. Corn and beans follow each other.
Yeah. Have you studied any studies that indicate one system, rotation or non-rotation, is better and more productive?
Well, you just in a
What do you guess?
rotation, when you switch corn and beans, you reduce the chance of diseases and maybe some insect pressure. So that helps with the following crop. If you continually to grow corn or beans in the same field, then you can start having some disease and maybe some more insect problems. So
Yeah.
I like to switch it up a little bit to help you out with that management.
Yeah. What were the costs this year for fertilizer, for seeds, and the things that you need? Did you see a big jump in price, or is it pretty much the same as it was last year?
No, it's quite a bit higher.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure the figures, but for each input, but they're all up. Seed costs are up, fertilizers up, chemicals were up. the cost per acre to put out an acre of corn depends on whether you rent your ground or you own your ground, but anywhere from nowadays maybe $1,100 an acre to $1,300 an acre, depending on what you use and how much to produce cost it, for an acre of corn. Beans is a little less. They're probably anywhere from $900 to $1,100 dollars an acre to put out an acre of beans. So the cost, our input costs, of course, diesel fuel has skyrocketed. That's a lot more expensive now. So it's going to be a tough year economically. But that's the way farming goes.
Yeah.
You got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah. And you mentioned fuel prices. And is everything run on diesel fuel versus regular gas?
Yeah. For the most part, everybody has diesel tractors, combines. So, we as farmers depend a lot on diesel fuel to power our equipment through the field. So it's mainly diesel.
Do you remember? I know you're what, second, third, fourth generation in farming. That years ago, some farms actually had fuel pumps on the farm. Do many of those exist today, or they still rely on the farm service or whatever company brings you the diesel fuel?
Yeah, for the most part, everybody has on-farm storage tanks and we have delivery, different companies that deliver diesel fuel. So most farmers have their own diesel tanks, so it's ready there whenever we need to fill up and work the ground. So that's pretty much the way it is now. We call for bulk delivery and they bring it to us. There's a lot of the bigger farmers have trailers now with tanks on them that and they farm distances a little more nowadays, greater distance to go to each farm or each field. So they have transport tanks that different fuel suppliers can fill up for them right on their trailer, and they can follow their planters or combines or whatever right to the field. So
I was going to say, have you ever run out of gas in the middle of a cornfield and say, "Oh, gee whiz, I should have stopped in Lincoln and got more gas"?
Where's the nearest gas station?
No, with diesel you don't want to run out in your tractor, because then it's a little problem getting it primed back up.
Is that right?
So,
I didn't know that.
We're pretty careful. We're pretty careful. We don't want to take that chance. So you always keep your tank pretty full at the end of the day, so you're ready to go.
To be on the safe side. But you do have a storage tank on your farm for fuel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's nice to know. If I were driving a diesel car, I know that you and your wife leave to go see ball games with the grandchildren. I thought I would fill up someday, but I don't have a diesel car, so you're safe and secure for that matter. Well, once you get everything into the ground, what do you do next? Spend the next couple of months sitting around praying and for rain and a good crop?
Yes, we could use a good rain again. It's getting dry, not critical, but it's we could use another rain. Right now, guys are spraying our corn and beans for weeds. Scouting is kind of important. We need to kind of walk through the fields, at least once a week and just check things. Just be on the lookout for any insect problems or weeds that might have escaped the spray, and just keep an eye on things and make sure everything's growing well. Repairs, a lot of guys are cleaning up their equipment, seeing what needs to be fixed or changed on their equipment. So yeah, there's always something to do. Mowing roads, roadside ditches. That's starting to happen now. Guys are out of the field or getting close to being out of the field, and those kind of jobs are taken over. So, yep, always something to do.
Yeah, I can imagine. Have you ever investigated what it would cost to have your field sprayed by air instead of doing it yourself?
Yeah, I don't know exactly the cost, but yeah, certain cases we do have to spray on fungicide with a plane, or nowadays even they're using drones in some cases to aerial applications. So yeah, that's a factor when especially the corn and beans, when they get growing and get taller, that you can't get the equipment through the field. That aerial application comes into play as well.
Well, I was wondering because, ladies and gentlemen, the last time I saw John, he had turned green, and I thought maybe it's because they were spraying his field with a herbicide or whatever. Well, God bless you for what you do, the salt of the earth, the people in farming and in the industry of agriculture. Do you have any thoughts as we close our wonderful conversation about seeing all the fields of prime farmland being turned over to solar farms and wind farms and so forth? I'm a city slicker, and I don't know about the slicker part, but it really bothers me to drive in the countryside, maybe to Lincoln or to Springfield, and see the beautiful farmland turned into solar farms. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, yeah, I have mixed emotions. We do need to look at some of those other supply for electricity, but yes, the solar farms especially seem to be popping up so quickly anymore, and they do take a lot of, seems like a lot of times, a lot of the good farmland.
Yeah.
You know, they say they can, after so many years, turn that land back into farming if needed, but I don't know. The compaction from the trucks and the equipment to set those solar farms up, you know, and there's cement in the ground and so forth to support those panels and everything. Yeah, it's sad to see. We may need that land back someday for food production. So yeah, it's a concern, that's for sure.
Well, as always, it's such a delight talking with you, John. I appreciate it. Keep up the work, and remember, God loves you, and so do we. Have a great day, my friend.
Well, thank you, Roger. You do the same. Thank you.
Bet. John Cross of Emden, Illinois, just a neat guy and a farm advisor on our program. Yeah. Anyway, sunny and pleasant today, a high of 85. Right now we're up to 56 degrees, and we're up to our pet tip of the day. Good. And they're going to talk about horses. Boy, we're really getting some variety.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. Have you and your family been considering owning a horse? Do you live where you have the acreage to keep a horse, or will you be renting a pasture and a barn? Remember, you cannot put a horse in a pasture and expect him to live. An experienced horse owner will tell you the horse is a digestive system on legs. They require At least 1/2 pound of good quality forage per 100 pounds of body weight. This means a 1,200-pound horse needs 6 pounds of hay per day, and that amount won't keep him alive. He needs to be supplemented with oats and grains. Water troughs need to be clean and free of bacteria and mosquito larvae. Your horse will need hoof trimming and shoeing, worming, shots, grooming, and teeth care. You will need to manage the manure in the field. You can't just leave the manure, but that's another topic for another day. The barn and stall will need daily cleaning, and you will have to have some way of getting rid of the used straw and manure. Maybe the best choice is to find a riding club and just sign up and enjoy the benefits of riding without all the work and expense. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's Pet Tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Thank you, Louis Linder. You know, I was just thinking, 56 degrees, by the way, our temperature. And our special thanks to the folks who own and operate and manage the Peoria Pet Crematory. When we talk about animals and pets and so forth, just think of the number of shows, if you don't mind, that's been on television featuring animals, such as Lassie. Would you say Lassie Come Home was the most popular of the quote animal shows that was on television?
Oh, yeah. Okay, before that was Rin Tin Tin.
Oh, that's right. We're in Tintin.
Fury? I think it was a show on Saturday.
How about Mr. Ed?
I always think Mr. Ed, of course. And there was one, My Friend Flicka was a horse.
Oh, that was a big movie, wasn't it? Or was it a TV series?
It was a TV series.
TV.
And then, gotta remember Flipper the dolphin.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
Flipper?
Who were the child stars in that movie or TV series?
I don't think they were big names.
I was at the Greater Peoria, or part of Peoria Area Retired Teachers Association monthly meeting yesterday, and we had one of our members, Scott Montgomery, who was a local administrator in District 150, but he was injured in the service, and he ended up applying for and got a service dog. So he basically talked about, how you can go about doing that, and he had some videos of how they're trained even, and it was very.
No kidding. Did he ever give a program?
Yeah, he was
that's
the one that gave the program to our group.
Oh, I thought he was a teacher.
We have somebody that comes in every month
with a program.
Some sort of program, right? Like John, help me, down at the museum is going to speak at our
John
first.
Morris?
John
Morris
yeah.
is going to speak on the 250th at our first meeting in September.
Sure.
We're off June and July, and then we come back and August. So.
Well, Sunday we had an interesting service where they combined the service that is Hispanic with the regular church congregation, and it was very interesting. I had a hard time following because the Hispanic speaker from Mexico, obviously, had a fellow Hispanic interpreting, and both of them spoke very fast. And at any rate, but that wasn't the reason I brought it up. Is that someone in two rows in front of me in the worship center, wasn't in the church sanctuaries, what they call the worship center, I guess that's what they call it, had a service dog.
Yeah.
And was interlapped through the whole service.
Yeah.
And you could see the the credentials, you might say, that the dog had.
They have a wrap around them.
Yes,
You know,
right.
You can,
That
and you're not
indicates-
supposed to do anything with that dog either.
No,
I did
d-
not know that. That. In other words, that dog should not be, you should not treat that like, pet it, for example.
Oh, really?
That you would do with, if one of your neighbors came up with their dog.
Well, like seeing eye dogs. I mean, they're to serve, and
They're
so
serve,
you
right.
don't go and make a fuss over them and that because it's
Distracts them from
Yes.
their
Distracts them from
appointed rounds,
yes, basically.
What they're trained
so
to
to
do.
speak.
But I mean, you can see where, they train those service dogs for the people that, were injured in the service and that, to open doors and to pick
Well,
up things.
since the two of you know a lot about service dogs, could you explain to me, was it an editorial comment or reaction? But I noticed during the sermon, the dog went to sleep.
No, they do that, yeah. The dog went,
Editorial comment.
to sleep. He brings them up and he gets them to sit in front of the podium. And sure enough, in my opinion, he slept through most of it. I don't need to hear this. I'm the one that does it.
Yeah. I'll take this
I don't
time
need
to
to
take
hear
a nap
your
because
BS.
Lord knows I've been busy for the last 12 hours.
You've been working my,
yeah,
bring me to this
yeah.
cheap little lunch of the day. They don't even have prime rib or anything. We had chicken.
Yeah.
We had the old
Do
chicken.
they allow service dogs on airplanes?
Yes.
They do.
Yes.
So they have a right. I know someone who has a service
you
dog
mentioned
and went to a restaurant in Mackinac, and they said you can't bring the dog in. And denying it is apparently a federal offense.
No, they can go everywhere.
And
They can-
the person
church.
chose not to make a big fuss and just left, and never to return again. And I just wonder how many restaurant managers are aware of the
rule,
federal law
Yeah,
regarding.
And that's why they have this big, it's about a foot and a half canvas, it says basically I'm a service dog, and the presentation was very interesting. I mean, I didn't, and like you say, there's many different types of, it's kind of a
Kinds of dogs that are more
different types of-
adaptable.
what-
Although I think
CNI dogs are, but they're not the service dog we're talking about yesterday.
that's a different.
Yeah, that's a totally
But they're all
different
service
program.
to some degree. It's kind of a generic term, is kind of what I'm saying, but these service dogs.
I know the animals have been very therapeutic. There are hospitals, and I don't know how active it is now, but we had someone who was given permission to come and visit patients on the cancer floor with a quote service dog or. But that's a different type of dog.
That's a different.
Yeah, it's a different.
That's a showbiz dog,
No,
right?
These service dogs that help the veterans, they actually get put in a home to start out with, and then they're flown with both the person that's going to use it and the dog to a certain area where they have to go for 2
Through the
weeks.
training, yeah.
Oh, really?
You have to apply to get one. There's thousands that apply to get service dogs.
Interesting.
But his is, but going back what you just said, I go to the Illinois Cancer Care for some iron treatments or some low platelets occasionally, and there's usually a dog that'll come around and you can pet it, but those are the therapeutic dogs more than.
That's interesting. You just said something that struck a familiar chord. You had indicated that you get iron treatments. Someone in my family
every 6 months.
is
Two
doing the
doses.
same thing. When did you start that, and how did they discover
just
that you needed
a
iron?
little blood disorder. I've
Interesting.
I've got, and I've been, people. I do not have cancer. Okay.
But-
But
and that's what
I have
is-
low platelets to start out with that they monitor. The best
Interesting.
place to give blood and to do blood work is, I know.
Illinois Cancer Care.
Cancer, and,
That's interesting.
That's where I was referred to. Yeah.
That's
And I always-
fascinating.
Whereas I see friends that they think, well, always get, no, I don't, in my mind, I have some blood disorder, which I guess is.
Did you have? What were the symptoms? Or did they discover it by accident?
A little bit, basically, first of all, was by accident. But
Okay.
I can feel the difference when I get the iron.
You can. You have more energy.
More energy.
That is interesting.
That's
because
the whole reason.
the person
And-
I know was dragging
Yeah, no,
uncharacteristically, and
I don't go very, probably
yeah.
once every 6, when I
Yeah,
have my
it's
monthly checkup, they
fascinating.
say, you know,
Yeah. We'll
I
have
think you ought to do some, well, I do whatever the doctor recommends.
Yeah. Well, that's probably good advice.
Well, I mean, I know some people question things,
Yeah.
but if he says, you know, I think you should stay on the iron and
Mm-hmm.
it takes about 2 hours. And
That's
you do it right at
interesting.
the cancer center, and you know, they do so many that I don't even, half the time I don't even feel the needle going in, you know.
Nice.
Ooh, don't talk
Yeah,
about
I
that.
know what you mean.
Hey, we have Dr. Sidler will join us at 7:15 following news, weather, and sports.
Good.
And also in the second half of the second hour, we'll talk to Peoria County Sheriff Chris Watkins, so stay tuned for that. You're having breakfast with Roger and Friends on WACU FM 90.7 in Peoria, Illinois, and also on YouTube, and you can access us on the BoobTube at Roger and Friends .ls. Is there a dot or just Roger and Friends LS? There you go. And see and hear us anywhere in the world for that matter. So stay tuned. We're having fun on this Tuesday morning. Hope you are too. Everybody, and it is a beautiful Tuesday morning, the second day of June, and we begin with a check of the weather and our weather forecast. Compliments of Mr. Weather Kyle Varnold is brought to you by Matt Wall, CPA and tax specialist with Gordon Stockman and Wall. Matt is experienced in all areas of finance, and you can learn more if you have any questions and you need help at 309-692-4030. That's 309-692-4030. Beautiful day today, beautiful morning, sunny and pleasant. We're going to reach 85 degrees by 4 o'clock this afternoon. Overnight low 55. Much the same tomorrow, sunny and 85. Thursday at 88, and Friday we're going to get up also to 88 under sunshiny skies. And by the way, here's the good news. There's a chance for showers beginning Friday night, continuing into Saturday night, Sunday, and maybe Sunday night for that matter. Right now our temperature at 57 degrees, and now with our lead story, here's Terry Chamberlain.
There was a deadly shooting in Muscatine, Iowa yesterday. 52-year-old Ryan McFarland went on a rampage, shooting to death 6 members of his own family, 4 at one location and the others at 2 separate locations. When he was confronted by officers on a walking trail, McFarland fatally shot himself.
President Trump says he convinced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to halt plans to attack Hezbollah targets in Lebanon after the terrorist organization agreed to stop attacking Israel. I don't know who's a bigger fib on that one. However, Israel has said its military operations in Lebanon will continue and is continuing as we speak this morning.
In the latest news in the war with Iran, the president is apparently seeking a permanent ceasefire. That's what some national media outlets are reporting, but that hasn't been confirmed by the White House or Trump's social media platform.
And the U.S. Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. has ruled the military cannot bar transgender troops from serving in the military by a vote of 2-1. The liberal court said such a ban is discriminatory. Judge Robert Wilkins, appointed by President Obama, said the Trump administration was motivated by a desire to harm a politically unpopular group, but he offered no evidence for his opinion.
There's a big election in California today for governor and mayor of Los Angeles. It appears to be a tight race in both contests. Republican Steve Hilton has a chance to become one of the 2 top finishers in today's primary. Democrats believe Xavier Becerra will be their top dog.
And the race for L.A. mayor features reality TV personality Spencer Pratt, and some people are giving him a good chance to upset Democrat Karen Bass. Both offices that we're talking about, governor and mayor, have been tightly held by Democrats for a number of years, and there have been some major scandals lately, including the failure to rebuild houses following wildfires in the state and a dramatic increase in the number of homeless on the streets of L.A.
A former nurse at the University of Michigan Medical Center is under investigation after posting a video threatening to kill President Trump. Rhonda Lee posted a video that contained obscene and disgusting rhetoric, saying she wanted to slit his throat. Meanwhile, federal authorities say they've identified and arrested the young man who said he was going to kill an ICE agent and his family during a rant at the riots in Newark, New Jersey.
Riots at the New Jersey center that holds illegal immigrants charged with murder, rape, and other criminal violations are continuing. Despite the number of arrests, New Jersey Governor Mike Sherrill says many of the agitators are from out of state. No kidding. One of the complaints of the rioters is the claim the illegals are receiving bad quality food. We're going to talk about food behind bars with Peoria County Sheriff Chris Watkins, 7:30 this morning, coming up shortly.
In other local news, Tazewell County Coroner Charles Hanley has identified Arlington, Illinois resident Jeff Foster as the fatal victim in the collision of his motorcycle with a pickup truck early Saturday morning. Hanley said the accident happened on Route 9 near Mackinac. Foster was pronounced dead at the scene.
Peoria police report the arrest of 45-year-old Aaron Cook in the attempted robbery of the five-star fish and chicken eatery on Campus Town, May 25th. Cook left without any money, or any fish for that matter. Good police work led to Cook's arrest 4 days later.
Police also arrested 23-year-old Micaiah Baker after she allegedly stabbed a man in the stomach Sunday afternoon following a domestic dispute. Police found the victim in a house on North Sleepy Hollow Road near Mossville.
Now more news from WCBU, brought this morning by Sam Lilly and Associates, providing a comprehensive range of insurance products, including personal auto, home, life, and medical coverage. Sam, specializes in Medicare plans and options, something he's been doing during his 40 years in insurance. Sam knows insurance. Learn more from Sam Lilly at 309-245-4374. That number again, 245-4374.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Rich Drager. Illinois lawmakers passed a $56 billion budget along party lines early this morning as financial pressures led to mostly flat funding. Democratic State Senator Dave Kaler, who represents parts of Peoria and Bloomington-Normal, says this year they focused on maintaining funding for existing programs. Kaler says they had to put more money into programs like SNAP because people could lose benefits.
There's uncertainty at the federal level that makes a big difference. So this budget is the best that we could do in this time, given the circumstances that we face.
The budget now goes to the governor's desk. Peoria County has a new person in charge of running its elections. Jessica Lee Joseph was appointed executive director of the Peoria County Election Commission earlier this month after nearly 4 years as assistant director. Her office handles voter registration, ballot creation, voting equipment, and training the judges who staff every polling place on Election Day. Joseph says her measure of success is simple.
A successful election is a boring election, and I say this because really you don't want to be noteworthy in elections.
The November 3rd general election is now about 5 months away. Peoria County is getting another $1 million in federal funding for pre-construction design and engineering on a project to improve Radnor Road on Peoria's north side. County engineer Amy McLaren says the upgrades are needed to handle an expected higher traffic volume over the next decade.
We're looking at improving the pavement and replacing the existing ditches with storm sewer, curb and gutter. We're going to include sidewalks and other pedestrian accommodations.
The full project is expected to cost more than $20 million. Central Illinois Congressman Eric Sorensen says Illinois should welcome data centers, but only with strict conditions. Sorensen says any facility coming to his district must produce its own renewable power, use household wastewater, and be sited away from neighborhoods. With WCBU News, I'm Rich Drager.
All right, let's get into the world of sports. Mike Olson shares with all the stories and stories. Good morning, Mike.
Terry and our fine listeners this morning. High school athletics takes big stage this week. The Dunlap Eagle girls softball team won the East Peoria Super Sectional yesterday with a 1-0 win over Providence Catholic High School out of New Lenox, Illinois. They will now play in the state tournament 5 miles from Dunlap High School at our Louisville Slugger complex out in the Grand Prairie area. In high school baseball, 3 Middle Line high schools will play in the sectional at Washington High School on Wednesday. They were all winners of their regionals. East Peoria won at Galesburg, and Metamora won at their home field, and they will now play each other at 4:30 on Wednesday in the first game, the semifinals of the Washington sectional. At 7 p.m., Dunlap, who won the Dunlap regional, will play Joliet Catholic Academy out of Joliet, Illinois. There's 2 very good games with a lot of D1 players involved, and should be well attended. I did see the Dunlap Morton game this past Saturday, and it was very, very well attended. The Metamora boys track team did very well this past weekend. They won the 2A state championship at Eastern Illinois University. Congratulations to the boys track team of Metamora. Yesterday on the Major League Diamonds, it was the Minnesota Twins 9 and our Chicago White Sox 6. Texas Rangers 2, St. Louis Cardinals 1. The Cubs were off yesterday. Today, the White Sox will again be at the Twins at 6:40. Texas is in the Lou down in St. Louis at 6:45. And the Athletics, as they're known, who are now playing out of a minor league park in Sacramento, will be at the Cubs for a 7:05 first pitch. In high school girls soccer today, Morton High School will be trying to get their ticket punched to the state tournament. They will play Waterloo High School at the Chatham Glenwood pitch at 4 p.m. in the super sectional with an opportunity to advance to state this weekend. Good luck to the Morton Potter girls soccer team. In the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, it begins tonight, the final best 4-out-of-7 series for the vaunted Stanley Cup features the Vegas Golden Knights will play at Carolina at 7:15 p.m. tonight. In the NBA for the World Championship of Basketball, NBA Finals will start tomorrow night. The New York Knicks are in San Antonio to play the Spurs at 7:30 p.m. And that's sports on WAZU 90.7 FM on your radio dial.
All right, thank you kindly as always. Mike Olson. 7:12 is our time, and we're going to warm up to a high of 85. Right now we're at 57 degrees. On the line we have Dr. Gene Sidler. Good morning, Gene.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Gene.
We have an internal dispute brewing, if I can use that as a verb, between our weather guy who claims that the Bears will be playing in Hammond, Indiana, come the not too distant future. I think you take issue with that. I don't think you believe that the Bears will be leaving Illinois. What are your thoughts?
Well, now, nobody knows, for one thing. This has not been decided yet. The state of Illinois has had years now to come up with some kind of a plan to help the Bears out, as they do with any business that they attract to the state of Illinois or try to keep in the state of Illinois. They give tax breaks for property taxes and other types of taxes, and they've been working on that. And in fact, it seemed like they had a bill that was agreed upon by nearly everybody in the state assembly, and then at the last minute, a number of the members from Chicago decided to vote against it. That was that pilot bill, payment in lieu of taxes, that went down this past weekend with the final vote. But then at the last minute on Sunday night, and it ran all the way into 3 a.m. or so Sunday night, Monday morning, they came up with another bill. The Illinois Senate came up with a second bill that would allow for the city of Arlington Heights to set up its own stadium authority and give the tax breaks specifically to the Bears that they needed. But then after the Senate passed that overwhelmingly, the House decided not to vote on it. They adjourned, and they're not coming back. So yes, that was kind of the final nail in the coffin for the plans that Illinois had, and clearly it was the Chicago members of the state assembly that basically torpedoed that bill that would have kept the Bears in Chicago, in the Chicago area, in Arlington Heights. The only reasonable offer left on the table now is the one from Hammond, Indiana. So that's, I think, what's the reason that Kyle says they're moving there. Although again, I don't know that that's been decided. I will say this, that maybe before this weekend, I would have guessed that the odds were maybe 75-25 that they're going to build in Arlington Heights, and I think it's probably reversed now. I think the odds are in favor of an Indiana stadium, because the state of Indiana and the city of Hammond, Indiana, are offering all of the tax breaks and things that the Bears have been asking for, and that every other major league stadium that's been built in the NFL, at least in the last several decades, has gotten from the states where they exist. So that's kind of where it stands now, is that it looks like it is leaning a little bit more toward Indiana, but the board of directors for the Chicago Bears is going to meet later in this month and supposedly make a decision, because this has been dragging on. They bought, at least initially, signed papers to buy that property in Arlington Heights 5 years ago this month.
Yeah, and
so yes, it was June of 2021 that they agreed to buy that. Now, they didn't complete the purchase until 2023, but this whole thing has been dragging on for 5 years. The state of Illinois has had multiple chances to come up with or agree to, but they can't even get their act together. You got the Chicago contingent that wants one thing, headed up by Brandon Johnson, who doesn't know what he's doing. And then you got the state people down in Springfield, headed up by Pritzker and the assembly down there, that they've got their own issues. They want to act like they're not giving in too much, because that makes them think that they're a better political stance than for taxpayers to vote for them. But it's just a crazy situation, and it can only happen in Illinois.
Well said. Well, I think the governor, Pritzker, fumbled on this one, because early in the game he said no taxpayer money will be used. Well, we know that the family that owns the Bears, they don't have the kind of money to have a domed stadium, and that's what they're talking about, or even an undomed stadium. And certainly the state of Indiana, they're reaching into the taxpayer's pocket to put it together. But I think the governor and others are going to do everything they can to keep the Bears, because for one thing, it's a great draw to the community, and it's an economic asset as well for the Chicago area and the state of Illinois.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's tremendous economic benefits for the state of Illinois, and yet they want to act like the Bears are the only ones benefiting from any action that they take. All the Bears want is some kind of guarantee of what the property taxes will be 5, 10, 15, 20 years into the future, because that's where they could get, pardon my language, screwed, because the states and the local authorities can just start jacking up property taxes for them, and they would have no options but to pay them, because they obviously can't pick up and move again after they've got into a new stadium.
Once the stadium is up, I heard.
So they just want these guarantees about what the property taxes are going to be for the future.
I heard yesterday too the talk a little bit about. Well, it's not that far. You got to travel some distance in some place in Chicago to get to the downtown. But if you got to believe that a lot of their big money comes from the northern suburbs, and that's a pretty good run if you start up there and you got 20 minutes or 25 minutes to get down to basically, where the stadium is now. And then you still got, on a busy Sunday, people going to Hammond, Indiana on 94 there and that area. It's going to be, to me, a mess. And you're probably talking, another hour or so at least to Hammond. They can talk all they want, about a half hour, but depending on where you're coming from. To me, it's not a good, and I got nothing personally against Hammond, but it just doesn't ring much of a positive bell. If you looked at, I saw some pictures of the area they're buying. It looks like a war zone almost, of old buildings and worn out stuff. So, yeah, I think I'm kind of like with you, Roger. I heard you speaking yesterday that I think something will be worked out to keep. I think we always have some sort of political bantering going on, for no better word, that somebody's going to have to give a little here or there to get done what they need to do. We'll see. I think it's going to stay in Chicago too. I hope it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not so sure.
No, I agree.
The Hammond site is actually closer to where the Soldier Field location presently is than is the Arlington Heights area. It's just down around the edge of Lake Michigan there.
Oh, it is.
And it's right on the interstate. Now, they would probably have to do some upgrades to that area of the highways to handle traffic.
It's pretty busy.
But yeah, it's busy up by Arlington Heights too, though. Mike, I've been up there many times.
Well, yeah, I'm not
It's a very densely populated area as
I'm not a
opposed
big
to the
thrill
Hammond
of
area.
Arlington Heights either, myself, but that's okay.
Well, we will see. I don't think anybody knows at this point where it's going to be built, but we'll keep an eye on it. And of course, you're from Lansing, Illinois. You're familiar with that territory. And as a physician, retired, you're also familiar with humans biting humans. I saw a report on Fox as we changed the tenor of our conversation that a doctor on Fox said the mouth has more bacteria in its orifice than just about any other part of the body. Just about. What are your thoughts? Is a human bite that dangerous?
Well, it can be, and yes, the bacteria harbored in the mouth of humans tends to be very virulent, strong type of antibiotics, of bacteria rather, that is often not easily treated with antibiotics. And so when you see a human bite come in, like to an emergency room setting, it can be a very serious infection, more so than dog bites and other animal bites. They need to be treated usually with multiple antibiotics to cover a broad range of organisms, germs that can cause these kinds of infections. And sometimes it can lead to much more, you've heard about these flesh-eating bacteria, but there can be some of these kinds of infections that can lead to really serious complications, requiring surgery, even leading to life-threatening situations.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw the injury that the guy inflicted on the ice agent with the bite and so forth. Now, when a dog does it, they isolate the dog. Do they isolate the guy who did the biting? And you give him a distemper shot.
No, I think you're thinking of like a rabies possibility.
Yeah, well, I think the guy had rabies.
Isolating, but no, that's not one that you have to worry about. But yeah, you do need to keep a close eye on it if it begins to get infected, and figure out what antibiotic is necessary to treat it with. Yeah, it can be serious. Now, in that case, I'm talking about the more extreme cases. Obviously, most cases of human bites are not that serious and don't turn out to be that big of a problem. But it's just the possibility that they can.
Yeah. We have Peoria County Sheriff Chris Watkins, who's joined us in the studio. You've had a long, varied medical career. You've worked in the emergency room of hospital or hospitals in California. You've had your own solo practice for many years and served on the Illinois Addiction Center staff at Proctor Hospital. Did you ever serve? And the hospitals, yeah, you started the hospice program in Peoria hospitals. Have you ever been a staff member at a jail where you could monitor what kind of food the sheriff or the police commissioner or whatever was providing these upstanding citizens who just happen to be housed in a facility that has bars?
Well, I don't know that the medical staff has much to say about the food and the diet of the prisoners and the staff, but I was recruited by a prison medical service that was started by a friend of mine, a doctor, actually two doctors here in Peoria, that started the large prison service that serves most of the Illinois state and federal prisons. But I opted not to get into that. It's just too much travel and too much involvement with other issues.
You didn't want to get involved in taking a bite out of crime? I'm surprised. You're an upstanding citizen and that you turned that opportunity down.
Well, one of my friends in the medical community did opt to do that and served for several years in the prison service medical organization, and I think he told me that in like 3 years of working, he had 17 lawsuits against him from prisoners. That kind of dissuaded me from getting into it. You know, they have legal counselors, and that's all they've got to do is sit there and figure out filing lawsuits against various people. Probably Chris can talk about that because it's a well-known phenomena among the prison population.
Well, it seems like they have a lot of time on their hands to do that, Chris.
Yeah, he nailed it. He nailed that exactly. I think I have about 15 pending lawsuits right now. A lot of it's medical related, which gets transferred over to our third-party vendor of medical. But we also pay almost $3 million a year for jail medical mainly because of their legal fees. Because what they told me was Illinois is the 6th friendliest lawsuit state. So like he said, a lot of these guys are pro se. They just file lawsuits while they sit in their jail cell.
Why is it, Chris and Dr. Sidler, Illinois seems to lead the nation in a lot of bad categories?
Well, yeah, especially Southern Illinois. That is, as Chris said, that is one of the friendliest, if not maybe the friendliest area for medical lawsuits, and it just has to do with their past record of finding in favor of the aggrieved, and so yeah, it's not a good place to have your lawsuit filed.
It seems interesting that there are many people who don't have medical coverage or medical insurance. And yet there are people behind bars. Isn't that true, Chris, that everything they get is free service when it comes to medical care?
Some, yeah. We try to get creative and make sure we can bill Medicaid when we can. And very small part actually have their own private insurance. We'll bill them too. But a lot of it does, we have to cover a lot of those expenses.
I remember as a former part of the Peoria County Board that we struggled with care in the middle of the night. I don't know, do you still have a nurse on duty 24/7?
Yeah, and that's one of the main costs.
That's a new change.
Yep, we did that several years ago, 24/7, just because we have 300 people in jail, and a lot of people are getting arrested in the middle of the night, so we want to make sure we have a nurse check them out before we accept them. We turn down a lot of inmates. We make them go to the hospital and get checked out if they have really high blood pressure or whatever, because some of our jail deaths have come because we inherited the problem from the street, from the officer. So we try to be real picky, but I mean, everybody has medical issues that come in the jail almost.
Yeah. Have you thought about not arresting people at night? Any other thoughts, medically speaking, Dr. Sidler, before we let you go?
Well, nothing much else in the news right now. The hantavirus people that were quarantined in Nebraska. Yesterday was their 21st day of mandatory quarantine, and so some of them are going home. the incubation period for hantavirus can still go up to 42 days, 6 weeks, and so some of them have chosen to stay there and remain in quarantine rather than risk exposing their families. But most of them are headed home now, and I think we've kind of seen the end of that. If there's been no new cases other than the original ones from the people on the ship, and so now the media will have to find some other dangerous medical issue to scare people.
To hyperventilate. No, you're exactly right.
My vote goes to Ebola. That'll be the next one.
Yeah, it sounds like naturally that's the direction we're headed. Well, as always, Dr. Gene Sidler, thank you for your insights. I appreciate it. One final question. If you were a betting man, and I know you're not, will the Bears be in Illinois 5 to 8 years from now, or Indiana?
Well, like I said, right now, I think the odds are leaning more toward Indiana, but they can pull a last-minute fourth down Hail Mary here to steal a football allegory, but it's just looking like they're running out of options now. So I guess if I had to pick one side, I would go with Indiana right now. It's looking a little bit more like that's where it's going to end up.
Okay.
They've got to get something done here, and it's going to probably come down to a decision by their board later this month.
Yeah, it sounds like you and Kyle are on the same side of the issue. I still think it's going to be in Illinois, but we'll find out. We'll pay close attention to it. Dr. Sidler, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, and we'll see you Thursday, if not sooner.
Okay.
All right.
Have a great day, everybody.
You too, Ben.
Bye, Doc.
Dr. Gene Sidler.
Hi, Doctor.
We're going to talk to Sheriff Chris Watkins, but first let's pause to bring you up to date with some of the stories we're following in our newsroom. 7:31 is our time, and we have a check of the news this morning. For investment questions and information, consider Bob Manning of the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley in Peoria. Bob is a senior vice president, has been in the investment advisory field now for more than 27 years. His phone number is 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Terry has our headlines. Terry?
Well, there was a deadly shooting in Muscatine, Iowa yesterday. 52-year-old Ryan McFarland went on a rampage, shooting to death 6 members of his own family, 4 at one location and the others at 2 other locations. When he was confronted by officers on a walking trail, McFarland freely shot himself. President Trump says he convinced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to halt plans to attack Hezbollah targets in Lebanon after the terrorist organization agreed to stop attacking Israel. However, Israel has said its military operations in Lebanon will continue. In the latest news in the war with Iran, the president is apparently seeking a permanent ceasefire. That's what some national media outlets are reporting, but that hasn't been confirmed by the White House or Trump's social media platform. Big election in California today for governor and mayor of Los Angeles. It appears to be a tight race in both contests. Republican Steve Hilton has a chance to become one of the 2 top finishers. Democrats believe Xavier Becerra will be their top dog. The race for LA mayor features reality TV personality Spencer Pratt having a good chance to upset Democrat Karen Bass. A former nurse at the University of Michigan Medical Center is under investigation after posting a video threatening to kill President Trump. Rhonda Lee posted a video that contained obscene rhetoric, saying she wanted to slit his throat. Meanwhile, federal authorities say they've identified and arrested the young man who said he was going to kill an ICE agent and his family during a rant at the riots in Newark, New Jersey. And speaking of New Jersey, Governor Mikey Sherrill says many of the agitators are from out of state. One of the complaints of the rioters is the claim the illegals are receiving poor quality food. We're going to talk about food behind bars with Peoria County Sheriff Chris Watkins very shortly.
Now, when we say bars, we don't mean the saloons or the taverns.
No, we
Okay,
mean jail cell.
Because usually that food's pretty good.
Yeah, bar food can be pretty good.
Different bar.
In other local news, Tazewell County Coroner Charles Hanley has identified Arlington, Illinois resident Jeff Foster as the fatal victim in the collision of his motorcycle with a pickup truck early Saturday morning. Hanley said the accident happened on Route 9 near Mackinac. Foster was pronounced dead at the scene. Peoria police report the arrest of 45-year-old Aaron Cook in the attempted robbery of the five-star fish and chicken eatery on Campus Town May 25th. Cook left without any money, or fish for that matter. Good police work led to Cook's arrest 4 days later. Police also arrested 23-year-old Micaiah Baker after she allegedly stabbed a man in the stomach Sunday afternoon following a domestic dispute. Police found the victim in a house on North Sleepy Hollow Road near Mossville. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, thank you, Terry. And now a check of the weather brought to you by Steve Sink, managing partner of PHX Affiliates. Steve has been a business broker for more than 20 years, working with clients confidentially and professionally for the sale or maybe purchase of a business. More information available from a guy who knows business, Steve Sink. You can reach him today at 309-696-8508. Weather-wise, another beautiful day today, if you like warm and sunny weather, because that's what we're going to have. High of 85, overnight low of 55, and tomorrow will be sunny, and a duplicate of today, another sunny day and 85. Thursday will warm up to 88. Friday will be sunny and another 88. But here's the good news, chance for showers beginning Friday night, continuing Saturday night, and even Sunday for that matter. Currently our temperature at 62 degrees. And if you're just joining us, we're talking with Peoria County Sheriff Chris Watkins this morning. And Chris, before we get into it, it's been a while since we've had the opportunity to talk to you. Tell us a little bit about Chris Watkins. How did you get interested in becoming in the area of law enforcement?
I took a ride along when I was 16 years old. My mom worked at the sheriff's office too, so I did a ride along when I was 16, and I loved it. And I knew this is what I wanted to do. So after I graduated, I joined the military and got out of the military and became a correctional officer, and then worked my way up to patrol. And
as a correctional officer, was it in Peoria?
Yeah, at the sheriff's office. Yep.
Who was the sheriff when you were in corrections? Which means you worked at the jail.
Mike McCoy hired me.
Mike McCoy.
Yep.
Well, you did something right. No, I'm just kidding. For that, yeah. And has it met your expectations? Are you doing what you wanted to do as a young boy?
Yeah, I never wanted to be sheriff. That kind of came out of nowhere about 4 years ago when Asbel retired. But stepped up, and I'm now on my year 4 right now. I'm running unopposed. So I plan on doing this for a while.
So the chances are you're not.
Got my vote voted.
Thank you.
The chances are you're not running, you're walking, because you don't need to run.
Yeah, I still take it serious though. We have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a quick 4 years though. I mean, that blew by.
Yeah, it just seems like yesterday when you came in.
That sincerely, I just seems like I would have guessed 2 years. You know.
Yeah.
Well, kind of set the plate for what we're going to talk about. You have been a corrections officer. You worked in the jail. I've been told that's more difficult, more challenging than patrolling.
It is. It's a different kind of challenging, right? I mean, you're in jail with those guys and girls, and they try to manipulate you. You're doing 8 hours at a time, and somebody calls in sick, you got to do 16 hours. It's just a lot of mental health issues. I mean, people throwing their urine on you. It's a real kind of negative environment. So we've tried to do our best to make it as positive as you can, and try to address a lot of those things. I mean, we've been putting a lot of money in the jail to make like an employee room. I mean, just trying to make the environment better for our people that want to come to work. But it's a tough job. It really is.
You know, when I was on the county board and they drew up plans for a new jail, the question that dogged everybody on the board was, how big do we make it? And as it turned out, we didn't make it large enough. However, somebody else said, build it, no matter the size, and they will come. Is that pretty much true, that instead of, what's the capacity, 300?
Well, when they did that addition in the early 2000s, that made it up over 500.
Okay.
And when I got hired as a correctional officer, we had over 500 people. We had people sleeping on the floor, and then kind of bail reform over the years. Now we're down to 300. I mean, last year I was down to 250, but now we've kind of spiked up to about 310 right now. So we have empty jail cells, empty pods, which is fine with me. But yeah, we're constantly around that 300 mark right now.
Yeah. Even though you have the larger capacity, it is somewhat of a benefit because, as I recall, you do have contract with other county and other police agencies to house prisoners when necessary. Is that still true?
Just the feds for the most part. We have
Okay.
about 20 to 30 feds at a time where they're here because the central district's in Peoria, so the feds like housing them in Peoria, easy to transport back and forth to the fed courthouse. So they pay us a daily fee for that.
Yeah. I know you followed what's happening in Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey, and you've described the jail population here as not exactly a pleasant experience. And since they're dealing with illegal immigrants who've been charged with murder and rape and other violations, why should we listen to their complaints? I guess you answered it earlier, because they file lawsuits.
Yeah, I mean, they file lawsuits on everything. I've been sued over legal mail, food, medical, you name it, and 99% of them get dropped. But they have that right in Illinois. They can go per se. As soon as they get the template, they fill out the lawsuit and file it. But the good thing is we have a great civil division at the state's attorney's office, and they take care of most of those for us.
Well, one of the reasons we chatted yesterday on the phone and asked you to come in and talk about the food that you serve the inmates at the Peoria County Jail, and who prepares it.
Yeah, we use a third-party vendor, Trinity. They specialize, they nationwide company, specialize in correctional food. I mean, they prepare over 1,000 meals a day. You know, over 300, say 310, and then
At the Peoria County Jail.
yeah,
Over,
Over 1,000 meals.
over
my
1,000 a meal
Oh
a
my
day.
goodness.
Three squares a day.
Yeah, 2 hots a day.
Well, like for breakfast, what do they typically get?
Cereal, and then maybe something extra, fruit or something on top
Such
of
as
that. What?
bananas?
I don't know. Maybe sometimes it randoms. You know,
Okay.
bread, and then usually the 2 hot meals are lunch and dinner. We've been tweaking those. I mean, we just added pizza like 2 weeks ago, so
Good.
I'm actually gonna go try that.
Yeah, you do sample the meals, don't you?
Yep.
Have you gained any weight?
No.
Okay. Just checking on that.
Quit giving,
When-
you're giving some overweight people an avenue to lose some weight.
When you leave home in the morning and your wife says, "You want me to fix something?" No, I'll put something. I carry out into jail.
Yeah, I can tell you it's the only restaurant that you get bad reviews, but they keep coming back the next morning for breakfast.
Yeah. For some reason,
Same people,
they like our food. And so, did you say you changed vendors recently?
We did a couple years ago. We changed vendors. We used to have a big, large inmate staff that would help out in the kitchen, but with no cash bail, I lost all those nonviolent people that we could put in there. And so I started seeing we had we had some pretty violent people working the kitchen, which you're just asking for trouble to have that happen, right?
Boy,
So,
yeah.
we had to put that out for bid, and we picked Trinity. They've been pretty good so far. They're all civilian staff. We're actually building, our kitchen was built in the original part of the jail back in the early 80s. So we are right in the middle of building a new kitchen for the civilian staff, which makes it better environment for them to work in than an old 1980s kitchen. So, and then we're starting the renovation part of the jail too. So the next 4 years, that's what I'm dealing with, is jail construction.
Yeah. By the way, the juvenile center is next door. Do they have the same vendor, or do they have a different vendor?
We transport food over to them.
Oh, you
Yep,
do?
yep.
Okay, yeah. What is their response to the food? And
It can always be better, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we offer commissary too, where they can buy snacks and
I
stuff.
see.
Yeah, and they do that all the time.
yeah,
too.
it sounds, Chris, crazy, but to me, it sounds like we really bend over backwards to keep, quote, your tenants happy with the food issue.
I mean, there's a lot of legal standing. You have to provide certain things, like even a dietary diet. I think I have like 30 people on cardiac diets because if I don't provide them whatever the doctor says, they're going to sue me and they're going to win, right? So we have, like the doctor earlier was saying, well, this medical staff really doesn't talk to the kitchen. Our medical staff talks to the kitchen every day because of the diets that
Really?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy because I know people in the community, and you see them who are in need of medical care and particularly mental care that are walking the streets and wish they could have the kind of medical care you get in the jail. And speaking of mental care, that's an important part of a service that you have to provide, once again, for fear of a lawsuit, right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to provide mental health, but we do. I mean, we have a full-time Dr. Bernice Gordon-Young, the city councilwoman. She works for us, works for the medical provider. She's there at least 40 hours, probably over 50 hours a week. But she's really good. She knows how to talk to them. She cares. And it goes a long way when those guys and girls that have the severe mental health issues, when they're getting taken care of, it makes everything calm. It makes good for our staff.
Yeah.
You know, they're not getting urine thrown at them, which, you know, that's who wants to go to work in that type of environment?
Yeah, in an environment, yeah. Do correctional officers receive a little more, shall we say, psychological training than those who are patrolling Peoria County?
They both, all of our staff gets
The same amount.
someone try. Yeah, we also, even on the personal side, we hired a mental health counselor 3 years ago, and she provides help with every employee that I have at the 180 employees at the sheriff's office, and she gets used a ton. I don't want to know anything what they talk about. I don't want to know who she sees. I just know the numbers, and the numbers look really good of who she talks to. So
Very good.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that we are concerned about in society is the transition from a 17-year-old to an 18-year-old. The 18-year-old is now considered as an adult. How do you handle the change, you might say, that takes place with an 18-year-old who is no longer going to go to the juvenile center but goes to the adult jail? Has that become a psychological issue among your staff of correction officers?
You know, maybe not a ton on the staff, but for me, part of my job is to prevent them from coming after they're 17, because it's a big difference. The JDC has maybe 20 to 30 people, and then it jumps up to over 300 when you're 18, right, at the jail.
Yeah,
so,
right.
you know, that's the whole system that we could talk about for hours. But, you know, we've been trying to think outside the box. You know, we have that reentry class with Carl Cannon. We've been bringing some of the juveniles that have been getting in trouble in his ecosystem over and letting the males talk to those juveniles.
really?
Try to prevent,
Yeah.
almost like a scared straight, but we call it straight talk. Because we're not trying to scare them. It's more just reality. Hey, I've been arrested 30 times. I was sitting in your seat before. Does it help? We don't know yet. We've only done it 3 classes now. So
Really?
just, you know,
It
that's,
can't hurt.
it can't hurt.
You
Absolutely.
try.
Yeah, we're trying everything we can, because, I mean, some of these 16, 17-year-olds, they're acting like adults, and that's why they're getting tried as adults. They think they can run around and shoot people and carjack people, and they're I would hate
agree.
to say a few of them are lost cause already, and that's sad, right?
That's
you know,
sad.
but the ones that we can help, we need to help.
Yeah. Do you see evidence in the county jail with some of the people who are brought in of a growing gang culture in the city, particularly Peoria?
You know, the gang culture is totally different than back when I was in MEG. It was almost a military hierarchy. You had people running it. Now it's really hard to keep track of, because there's 10 guys over here, 10 guys over there. I mean, it's really hard to keep track. Peoria PD does a very good job. They have some great investigators and some great leadership that they do a good job. That's why you're seeing all the arrests. That's why I have 320 people in jail, is because people are arresting them. And the state's attorney actually does a pretty good job on the violent offenders that do get arrested. It's just, you know, it's the gun possessions. The Safety Act kills us on the gun possessions, because they didn't shoot anybody, but they had a gun, but they sometimes get kicked out the next day depending on what their circumstances are. And those are the ones we see. I mean, the biggest thing I'm seeing, I'm averaging over 30 bookings a day in our jail, and most of the time, that's half of those bookings are failure to appears. These guys are just getting kicked out. It's just that, you know, they told us, no, they're going to go to jail. You can let them out on pretrial. I promise they're going to come to jail. We're going to put a GPS monitor on them. They're going to come to the court. They're going to go to their court dates. We are not seeing.
Of course not.
no,
I mean, duh.
They're getting arrested. They come for 24 hours and they get kicked out the next day. And I've talked to judges. They're frustrated too. You know, their hands are tied. So that is, it's becoming, and you got to think every time that person's arrested, it's pulling police off the streets for a couple hours, you know, and it puts a lot of, you know, it's just a lot of work on our staff to book them in and hold them for 24 hours to be let out to see them again in 30 days. So that, to me, that is the real big red flag right now is the failure to appears.
Is that due to the Safety Act?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I keep hearing every now and then that they're going to refine it, they're going to tweak it, they're going to improve it, and I don't see any action whatsoever other than being on television peddling that BS.
Yeah, there hasn't been much change. You know, we're in talks. We have a good legislative committee with the Sheriff's Association, so we're always trying to push back. But you should see some of the bills that they're trying to push through Springfield in the last couple of weeks. Luckily, a lot of them kind of were on pause until the next session. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy Chicago bills that are.
I was going to say they're coming out of Chicago, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's too bad because Chicago, certainly politically speaking, is indeed controlling the state of Illinois. And I imagine part of the frustration also with the Safety Act or no Safety Act is you see a lot of repeat offenders, don't you? And maybe in part while there are other charges pending, but also they are addicted to drugs and they got to do certain things in order to get the money in order to buy the drugs.
Yeah, we still have a theft problem. You know, it's kind of leveled out a little bit, which is nice. But yeah, the people that are stealing are not really getting held. They get kicked out the next day. Some don't even get arrested. Depends on the offense. So, but the ones that do get held that have a drug addiction, we have programs in the jail for them they have to want to get help though. Some don't want to get help. So you know, we still have a drug issue in Peoria. You know, we're starting to see heroin come back a little bit. That kind of fell off, but now meth and heroin are kind of coming back now. So we still have an issue with that for sure. So a lot of the same common problems, but I mean, it doesn't discourage us. Our guys and girls still go out and do their job, and so does Peoria PD.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's the morale? How do you keep everybody happy like Mr. Rogers used to do? Are you the Mr. Rogers of the Sheriff's Department?
It is impossible to keep everybody happy, but
Yeah.
you know, you just do what you know what's right for the office, and you can keep most people happy by doing that way.
Yeah, I know there was at one time, and I suppose not much has changed, a constant competition to keep your officers. Are you still on the lookout for people to join the Sheriff's Department, male and female?
For the first time in, I don't even remember, at least 15, 20 years, we're fully staffed.
You are fully staffed. That's unusual.
For deputies, yes.
Okay.
Corrections, we're like 7 down. Not bad. We're hiring a few more the next couple weeks. So
Yeah.
we're doing so much better than it was 4 years ago. And that's a group effort between the county board giving good pay raises for the cops,
right,
and
yeah.
you know, it's everything in the environment. We're supportive of our people and just doing all those little things around it. You know, it's not just one thing. It helps retention.
Yeah, you're down by 7 for the corrections that work in the jail. What are the qualifications? Somebody's listening, is interested in making a job change, or maybe someone who is unemployed but would like to be employed. What are the criteria for hiring?
So for corrections, we lowered it to 18, but we're very, very picky. It used to be 21 like a police officer, but we've lowered it to 18, and we've hired a couple good 19, 20-year-olds.
Really, yeah.
But you got to be really picky because our population's different than a lot of downstate populations in jail. I mean, we're pretty violent. They're pretty
Some pretty bad dudes.
Yeah, so throwing an 18-year-old that's fresh, that doesn't know anything, that doesn't, you know, can't carry themselves very well, probably not going to be a great fit. But we've seen some good 19, 20-year-olds that we've hired to carry themselves well. And man, to be a 19 or 20-year-old that can go make $60,000 to $70,000, $80,000 a year, I mean, it's a pretty good, and it's a good resume builder too.
Really? What's the age limit? Could like a 92-year-old guy apply, or would you?
Sure, come on out.
Well, what do you mean?
I don't think you have to worry.
I didn't. I was talking about me.
No, some other guy who's 92 he can do it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And I know you have females on the force too. Do they know? Well, I'm sure they do. What they're getting into when they sign on because it is a dangerous job, and it's in many ways a dirty job, if you know what I mean, because of the type of people that you have in the jail.
Yeah, we have the most females ever as deputies that we've ever had working for us right now. We're just seeing a huge, and we see it almost, I mean, it's almost 50-50 applicants, female, and it never used to be that.
Really?
Never used to be. I think, females, I mean, some of our females are pretty, they can handle themselves very, yes.
If I could just, being at Peoria High School for 22 years before I retired, the toughest thing to handle was the two girls that fought. But number one, they get your hands off me as my glasses
they don't
go
listen.
flying, you know? I said, yeah, but I'm not going to let you beat up that little girl.
In case you're just joining us, we're talking with Peoria County Sheriff Chris Watkins. Where and when, under what circumstances, are you requested or get involved in city arrests or searches or hunts, or how well and when do you cooperate?
Some of our investigations do mix, especially the drugs ones. Our detectives will back. They work together with the city detectives on a lot of drug and gun cases. So we've really built that relationship in the last few years with them. I have a guy at the ATF that's kind of embedded with the city right now. They're doing a lot of good work. And then the patrol related, it's, if they're too busy, they ask us to back them up, and they back us up when we're too busy and don't have backup. We have a great relationship with Peoria PD. I talk to their old chief all the time, and their new chief, me and Brad, have came up the ranks together too, so we have a good relationship.
Yeah, he's a neat guy, and we had the good pleasure
He was in that seat about a week, 2 weeks ago.
interviewing him, and
very, very good man.
a neat guy. You like to have that kind of a cooperation between city and county, for that matter. So, and he, by the way, he talked. One of his priorities is to enforce the speed limits in the city. And where's the county on that? Do you have a radar crew, or
we have the IDOT grant. So I mean, I think we write thousands of tickets. We don't do a ton in the city. Ours is those main arteries out in the county that I want them to focus on. They do some in the city, but Route 29, 24, 150, 116. I mean, it's just speedways out there. I mean,
I know you're right about that.
Yeah, so
Roger can give you some good words.
And it's good to see that Dixon's looking at. We see what happens in the city. I mean, it's crazy in the city. So I'm glad he's putting some focus on some of the traffic in the city.
Well, don't be a stranger. So happy to have you come in, Chris.
Thanks for
I
having me,
appreciate it.
guys.
It's always a joy. Keep up the work. God bless you and,
Thank
and
you.
your staff and men and women.
Appreciate you
We're
guys.
blessed to have you for
We have
4 more
63
years there, too,
degrees,
Chris.
and we'll be back after this message.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets, and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there's nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Well, that takes care of our number 2 of Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU FM 90.7 in beautiful Peoria, Illinois. And a little reminder, we are on YouTube, and you can access us, see and hear us on YouTube at Roger and Friends LS. And that should get the job done. What a nice interview. What a nice guy. Chris Watt. It makes you feel good that you have a gentleman of that.
When I looked at him, and I voted for him 4 years ago, that I thought he seemed a very, very good man. And obviously, I think he's done a great job, from what I'm doing from my perspective, in a tough job.
Yeah.
Tough job.
And again, it illustrates something that many of us have talked about over the years, and as we don't have to go out of town for leadership. We've got some quality people right here.
We've
in
got good
Peoria.
education here.
John Morris leading the Riverfront Museum after we had a high-profile leader down there who did a good job, but John's doing an excellent
He
job.
sold that. I
And-
told somebody the other day, from what I call a mid-major city. I mean, we're not. We've got to have one of the top museums in the whole,
no
all
question
the
about
country
it.
for our size.
Nope,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. News, weather, sports coming up next, and in the next hour we're going to talk to another great guy, Josh Bradshaw, community manager with Advanced Medical Transport. Always a delight. We haven't talked to Josh in quite some time, so stay tuned. Join us on Breakfast with Roger and Friends. It is Tuesday, the second day of June, and we begin with a check of the weather brought to you by Spoon River Home Health, making a difference in the lives of our clients, they say, since 1993, with a comprehensive range of home health care services from skilled nursing to bathing and personal care. Your choice matters at Spoon River Home Health. By the way, they're always looking for good people. If you're interested in learning more about working in the home health care business, give them a call at 309-245-0723. Sunny and pleasant today, a high of 85, overnight low 55. More of the same tomorrow, sunny 85. Thursday we'll get up to 88. Also on Friday up to 88 degrees. But the big news, chance for showers Friday night, continuing through the weekend, Saturday night, and Sunday. And right now our temperature is 64 degrees with our lead story, Terry Chamberlain, to give you the latest.
Well, there was a deadly shooting in Muscatine, Iowa yesterday. 52-year-old Ryan McFarland went on a rampage, shooting to death 6 members of his own family, 4 at one location and the others at 2 other locations. When he was confronted by officers on a walking trail, McFarland fatally shot himself.
President Trump says he convinced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to halt plans to attack Hezbollah targets in Lebanon after the terrorist organization agreed to stop attacking Israel. I think both sides probably lying about that. However, Israel has said its military operations in Lebanon will continue. So there you go.
In the latest news in the war with Iran, the president is apparently seeking a permanent ceasefire. That's what some national media outlets are reporting, but that hasn't been confirmed by the White House or Trump's social media platform.
And the U.S. Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. has ruled the military cannot bar transgender troops from serving in the military by a vote 2-1. The court said such a ban is discriminatory. Judge Robert Wilkins, appointed by President Obama, said the Trump administration was motivated by a desire to harm a politically unpopular group, but offered no evidence to his opinion.
There's a big election in California today for governor and mayor of Los Angeles. It appears to be a tight race in both contests. Republican Steve Hilton has a chance to become one of the 2 top finishers in today's primary. Democrats believe Xavier Becerra will be their top dog.
He's got a lot to bark about. Anyway, the race for L.A. mayor features reality TV personality, and that's something, Spencer Pratt. And he has, they say, a good chance to perhaps upset the Democrat Karen Bass, who's current mayor. By the way, both offices, governor and mayor, have been tightly held by Democrats for a number of years, and that despite major scandals lately, including failure to rebuild houses following those wildfires, and there's been a dramatic increase in the number of homeless on the streets of L.A.
A former nurse at the University of Michigan Medical Center is under investigation after posting a video threatening to kill President Trump. Rhonda Lee posted a video that contained obscene and disgusting rhetoric, saying she wanted to slit his throat. Meanwhile, federal authorities say they've identified and arrested the young man who said he was going to kill an ICE agent and his family during a rant at the riots in Newark, New Jersey.
Riots at the New Jersey center called Delaney Hall that hosts illegal immigrants charged with murder, rape, and other criminal violations. Well, they are continuing to riot despite a number of arrests. New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill says many of the agitators are from out of state. One of the complaints of the rioters is now the illegals are receiving bad food. It's a shame. We just got done talking with Peoria County Sheriff, of course, Chris Watkins, about the food at the Peoria County Jail. And to me, it sounds pretty good. I might call for a carry-out.
Go over and have some pizza?
Yeah. Didn't that sound good?
Actually did.
Yeah, I thought so.
In other local news, Tazewell County Coroner Charles Hanley has identified Arlington, Illinois resident Jeff Foster as the fatal victim in the collision of his motorcycle with a pickup truck early Saturday evening. Hanley said the accident happened on Route 9 near Mackinac. Foster was pronounced dead at the scene.
Peoria police report the arrest of 45-year-old Aaron Cook in the attempted robbery of the five-star fish and chicken eatery on Campus Town. It happened May 25th. Cook left without any money or any fish. Good police work led to Cook's arrest 4 days later.
Police also arrested 23-year-old Micaiah Baker after she allegedly stabbed a man in the stomach Sunday afternoon following a domestic dispute. Police found the victim in a house on North Sleepy Hollow Road near Mossville.
And there you have some of the stories we're following. Now we'll check with WCBU with what they have, and that report brought to you by Kyle Varno, providing personal and business insurance for auto, home, life, and health. You know, Kyle works with a number of insurance companies. They call them carriers to find policies for individuals, families, and businesses. And you can reach Kyle for more information about what he can do for you at 309-682-0519. Now more news from WCBU.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Rich Drager. Illinois lawmakers passed a $56 billion budget along party lines early this morning as financial pressures led to mostly flat funding. Democratic State Senator Dave Kaler, who represents parts of Peoria and Bloomington-Normal, says this year they focused on maintaining funding for existing programs. Kaler says they had to put more money into programs like SNAP because people could lose benefits.
There's uncertainty at the federal level that makes a big difference. So this budget is the best that we could do in this time, given the circumstances that we face.
The budget now goes to the governor's desk. Peoria County has a new person in charge of running its elections. Jessica Lee Joseph was appointed executive director of the Peoria County Election Commission earlier this month after nearly 4 years as assistant director. Her office handles voter registration, ballot creation, voting equipment, and training the judges who staff every polling place on Election Day. Joseph says her measure of success is simple.
A successful election is a boring election, and I say this because really you don't want to be noteworthy in elections.
The November 3rd general election is now about 5 months away. Peoria County is getting another $1 million in federal funding for pre-construction design and engineering on a project to improve Radnor Road on Peoria's north side. County engineer Amy McLaren says the upgrades are needed to handle an expected higher traffic volume over the next decade.
We're looking at improving the pavement and replacing the existing ditches with storm sewer, curb and gutter. We're going to include sidewalks and other pedestrian accommodations.
The full project is expected to cost more than $20 million. Central Illinois Congressman Eric Sorensen says Illinois should welcome data centers, but only with strict conditions. Sorensen says any facility coming to his district must produce its own renewable power, use household wastewater, and be sited away from neighborhoods. With WCBU News, I'm Rich Drager.
Hi, Rich. Good to hear from you. Former broadcaster and WTAZ, as a matter of fact. And he went WTAZ to the Salvation Army, and then worked for a while at Southside Mission. Now he's back in broadcasting to WCBU. Good guy, nice guy. Good to hear from Rich. Anyway, good to hear from Mike Olson with sports. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning to our fine listeners and to Terry and you, Roger. High school athletics takes a big stage this week. The Dunlap Eagles softball team won the East Peoria Super Sectional yesterday with an excellent 1-0 win over Providence Catholic High School out of New Lenox, Illinois, just up by Joliet. They will now play in the state tournament. I say they, the Dunlap Eagles softball team will play in the state tournament this weekend. It usually starts on Friday, then continues on Saturday at the Louisville Slugger Complex, part of the Grand Prairie area, out in the west side off of War Memorial Drive. In high school baseball, 3 Middle Illini schools will play in the sectional at Washington High School on this Wednesday. East Peoria, who won the Galesburg sectional over Washington, and Metamora, who won the regional, East Peoria won a regional at Galesburg. Metamora won their own regional, Dunlap won their own regional, and Joliet Catholic Academy, out of the Joliet area, obviously, won the regional up there. So at 4:30 on Wednesday, it'll be East Peoria and Metamora, and then at 7 o'clock, the nightcap, it'll be Dunlap and Joliet Catholic Academy, and then the championship game for the sectional will be played on Saturday morning, as long as it doesn't rain too much on Friday night. I'm already concerned. The Metamora boys track team won the state title in track and field at the Eastern Illinois University track this past weekend. Yesterday on the Major League Baseball diamonds, it was the Minnesota Twins 9, the Chicago White Sox 6, the Texas Rangers 2, and the St. Louis Cardinals 1. Today, the White Sox again will be in Minnesota at 6:40. Texas will be down in the Lou in St. Louis at 6:45, and the Athletics will be in Wrigley Field at 7:05 tonight. In high school girls soccer today, Morton High School will play Waterloo High School from down south at Chatham Glenwood High School at 4 p.m. in the Super Sectional, with the opportunity to advance to state this weekend. Good luck to the Morton girls soccer team. In the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, they begin tonight. It'll be the Vegas Golden Knights will play at Carolina against the Hurricane at 7 p.m. And in the NBA, the final series of that association will start on Wednesday night. Tomorrow night, the New York Knicks will be at the San Antonio Spurs at 7:30 p.m. And that's sports on WAZU 90.7 FM in lovely Peoria, Illinois, and on YouTube at Roger and Friends LS. That's capital.
You got it.
LS. Yep.
Thank you, Mike Olson, with the latest. Hour number 3 of Breakfast with Roger and Friends continues. You know, soccer has just
Really
exploded in the area. I never thought it would. I don't follow it. I don't know what the rules are. But are there rules in soccer similar to hockey?
They have terms that are similar. I'm not so sure that, like they have an offsides.
Yeah.
You can't put somebody down there in front of the other goal and just keep shooting the ball down to them. There are definite rules that are somewhat similar. Of course, you have the tack. They call it tackling when they trip with their legs. It's more of a tripping. The terms are a little bit different. I've never played a regulation soccer game myself.
Have you ever watched a soccer game from beginning to the end? From beginning to end?
No.
Neither have I.
No.
I'll watch it a little bit, and then it
World
wears me
Cup.
out because it's run. It's like going to the K.O. Picnic
Well,
Festival.
and then there's not a lot of scoring. There's a lot of 1-0 they call it rather than one. You got different terms. It's 1-0 team.
Well, that's 6-love and tennis.
That's what I'm saying, right? There's different terms, and but I think the big thing soccer has, and why it's basically gotten bigger and bigger and bigger in the United States over the past generation or two, is that it's very reasonable. In other words, if you want to try to start playing ice hockey, the skates alone will be 10 times as what you're going to pay for those little shin guards and a pair of, cleated shoes that
Sure.
you can get at Underdogs for $10. And you can play it on any type surface, really. I mean,
Yeah, but you need a number of players
Right,
to do
right,
it.
right.
You know, you can play horse with one other person and,
Right.
and have enjoyed. At any rate, Josh Bradshaw from Advanced Medical Transport has joined us. And where you been? You've been hiding. Every time I call this guy,
he's been
I can't make it, Roger. And I said, why? He said, well, I'm on the way to an accident. Well, stop by here on the way.
No, get to that accident.
Good morning. You've been busy, have you?
We've been busy. We've been hopping. Yeah, it's good stuff, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, I would say, yeah.
in the office.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
in the office we've been busy.
Yeah.
I bet you have.
But
course,
you,
we're
you
taking-
still make calls, don't you,
Yeah,
every now and
yeah, I
then?
still make calls
To-
here and there.
To stay up to date and so
veteran
forth?
like you.
I sure do. Yeah. Yep. Whenever we get busy, there are those of us in the office that jump on trucks to go
Yeah.
out and help out because it's the right thing to do.
You know, you're in the news a lot, and we see you at the scene of accidents at some sporting events and other events. How do you determine, are you recruited to say, hey, can you send a crew to our football game, or can you send a crew to, we're having a weekend fair or whatever? Do you do it by request, or do they pay for your attendance?
There are both ways it can work. There are some events that require having an ambulance, like
Like-
sporting events
Yeah.
where you have to have one on
Varsity
site.
football games all have an ambulance at the event.
They do.
And then some places just would like us to come out and talk to kids and promote safety and wellness, and so we go do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of your responsibility, is it
is.
not, for community service?
200 a year.
No kidding. Wow, my goodness. No wonder I have a hard time contacting you. Tell us a little bit about Advanced Medical Transport, just a historical background. And a lot of people don't know that it's been around for a number of years, starting, 1991?
Yeah.
Am I right on the year with that? And was Andrew Rand part of the beginning when it was formed initially as a group hospital consortium? Initially Proctor and Methodist, and then St. Francis, after learned what was going on, agreed to join as well. So it started. But are the three hospitals still involved today?
The three hospitals initially formed us because
Right.
they wanted a singular high-performance service to
Yeah,
take
because
care of
we
the
had
city.
Ace Ambulance and Green Cross, and they competed. They would race to an accident scene. It's a wonder they didn't get in an accident. But at any rate, going back, so the three hospitals
And the city,
got together
too.
in the city.
The city participated in that,
mhm.
and they set it up the way they wanted it, and it's worked really well for Peoria. It's a freestanding, not-for-profit agency that transports people to the hospital.
So is this
and-
show, by the way. Freestanding
Oh,
or
yeah.
sitting, a nonprofit.
So, we do emergency, non-emergency transport, behavioral health, special event, medical standby. We have a lot of different service lines that we're really proud of.
When did you add the behavioral health, which is a great need in our community and the country?
So I'm going to guess about 15 years ago. My time frame keeps getting longer, Roger,
I know
honestly,
you,
'cause
yeah, I understand that. I've been there, done that. You're right.
I just passed my 19-year anniversary there.
Really?
So it's
That
getting
is
a little hard
amazing,
to
yeah.
remember specific
You're
dates.
from Pekin, are you not?
Yeah.
You tell me that, yeah.
Yeah.
19 years, almost 20 years, my goodness.
I-
And you're only, what, 32?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay. You know, over the years, it is amazing the growth of advanced medical transport.
Yeah.
What are some of the other cities that you provide emergency service?
We are in Peoria, Pekin, Chillicothe, of course, and the
Right.
surrounding areas. So we go all the way down to
Peoria, Ice Bartonville.
all the way down to Glassford, all the way up toward Hopewell. We are in the Quad Cities. We're down in Springfield. We're in the Danville, Champaign area.
Jeez.
We have a regional capacity, so those trucks are always on the road.
Yeah. Are you in Iowa now too?
We do a little bit of work in
I thought
Iowa.
you were, yeah.
Yeah, not as much as we used to, but the central part of Illinois is very well served with a regional capacity.
Well, I'll say roughly, what, 500 employees?
Yeah, that's a
And
big number.
growing, yeah.
Unbelievable. That's 5 times what it was when I started.
Yeah. Did you have a question, Mike?
No, I was just, it's amazing to me that, 100 to 500 and covering basically from the Quad Cities probably to, like you said, down to, up to Hopewell, which is north of Chillicothe, and then down into, below Pekin.
Does AMT do anything on behalf of the homeless?
We have a lot of community outreach efforts. I would say the biggest in the direction of people that are unhoused or have challenges with basic human needs would be the Heart of Illinois United Way 211 call center that is inside our building. So people experiencing challenges with food, shelter, clothing, job training, child care, utilities, they can call 211 and be connected with a specialist in that call center.
They do that. The reason I ask that question is I spend some time, particularly on Sundays, in downtown Peoria, where I go to church. And it is depressing, disappointing to see people in a state of, I don't know whether you call it deep sleep or overdose or whatever on the streets of the city of Peoria. And I just wonder whether people alert AMT to come and get them, because what do you do with them when you take it? If you pick up a homeless person that is in need of medical care, do you determine which hospital to go to, or do you give on the scene treatment?
We do a little bit of both. So anybody we pick up gets treated the exact same way, regardless of their ability to pay. So we don't worry about where the money is going to come from. We treat them all the same. So they can choose which hospital they go to if they're able. Otherwise, we're just going to make an appropriate choice based on the services that would be available at whichever hospital.
Well, have you seen an increase in the local homeless population, or is it pretty much the same? To me, we don't see the encampments anymore, so maybe the city is doing, apparently is doing a good job of getting placement for them, or giving them a bus.
Not as visible. You used to be able to see the
the camps off of 74,
Yeah, I don't know that I've experienced an increase or decrease myself, but certainly you don't see the encampments anymore.
That's not looking
there are a lot of good people really working hard on that problem in this town, and we're thankful for that, because that number's in the hundreds. It's not just dozens.
Yeah, it's hard to believe,
Yeah.
And for whatever reasons, it seems like whether it's Peoria, Illinois, or Los Angeles, or Chicago, it's not getting better. It's getting worse. And
and there are citizens. There are people, and there are many people who are just one step away from falling on hard times.
Yeah, no question about it. How's the drug problem in the community? I know we've talked about staffing AMT, and I guess some police vehicles as well with Narcan to respond to drug overdose and so forth. Are you seeing an increase? Is it about the same?
It's gotten a whole lot better.
Has it really? Why do you attribute that?
I think the community efforts of the health department, the coroner's office, the hospital systems, police department, fire department, the EMS system, so many people working really hard on that problem, and I didn't even hit them all. They began back in 2017, maybe even before that, when we were really in the thick of it, and everybody put their heads together and worked really hard on that problem, and I think we made a big difference in it.
Good.
I don't think you're ever going to eliminate it, but we sure helped a lot of people since then.
Yeah. What's the youngest that you know of in Peoria at any rate, that has had emergency treatment with Narcan due to an overdose?
Boy, it's hard to say. We not only see like drug abuse, we see people that are on pain medications and they take their pills, they forget that they took their pills, they take them again, and they end up in a situation like that too.
Oh, really?
So we don't always know the backstory when we get there, but we try to figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the youngest might be. We don't always know how old someone is if they can't communicate
Sometimes
to us
they're sometimes they're hard to ascertain them.
Yeah.
What's the criteria of knowing when to use Narcan? It's one or well, how do you determine that it's a drug overdose? What are the symptoms?
Sometimes we don't exactly know. So the
Can
good
you
news
hurt
is
them by giving them when they don't need it?
no, there are very, very few contraindications
Oh,
to
really?
Narcan.
Okay,
So
all
it's
right.
something that if you suspect an overdose, it's pretty safe to give.
Good.
So that's why it's so publicly available for people to use.
Yeah. You know, the last time you were here, you mentioned about how you have a system, and you explain that again. I found that fascinating, and I think it's great and unique, where you can affect the changing of the lights in order to expedite your arrival to an accident. That's great. I've checked
How do we get one of those?
Well, I talked to O'Reilly and AutoZone, and they said, no, we don't sell it.
Yeah, those work great for us. The old model too, of just screaming to a call, lights and sirens, that is fading away in favor of a lot more safer ways of doing things.
Yeah, when you're able to control the light, what do you to be green for you? Is there a button you push, or is there a system that has to be implemented? Step 1, step 2, step 3, or can you just press a button and that light changes to green for you?
It comes on automatically with the truck's lights and sirens.
Is that right?
So we
Really?
can't even
Isn't
You
that
don't
turn it
have to
on.
do anything,
Yeah,
really.
we
I
can't turn
want
it-
that for my
I was
car.
just going to say, on the black market, we could probably
Yeah.
find a couple,
Oh,
Roger.
yeah.
That system works great, and
That is wonderful.
what's even better is that process of predictive demand modeling, where we put the trucks in the right place before the call even comes in.
Oh,
So
good point.
we're
yeah.
always looking at massive amounts of data, where the calls come from and what types of calls and why, and times of day and road construction projects and
say,
all that.
Pulling up by Richwoods right now, that Northmore and University it takes about 4 lights.
It's
to
a
it.
nightmare. Yeah, it is.
Well, there was a pretty good accident there yesterday. I was over at the baseball
At
field.
where?
Right by Richwoods High School at University in Northmore.
Northmore,
Right where
okay.
that marathon gas, I think it's.
Why would that be any different than University and Ward Drive, which I always
no,
consider
that's bad too, but
University in Knoxville and
they've
Ward
got-
Drive?
Oh, because they've got it all torn up.
It's all torn
and now
up,
you
so
can't
there's only
go
one
one way.
lane going each way. So I was helping a boy with hitting yesterday over at Richwoods in the cage, and the line going south on University going south
Oh, yeah.
to Northmore
That's a
towards St.
nightmare.
Vincent's, it was back down the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Oh,
it probably
yeah.
takes
Yeah,
2 or
and
3
that's a-
lights, and you can
and
see people getting a little irritated.
Well,
And then
and-
there's people trying to get out too, a little bit of that.
And I blame the city traffic engineers for that. Some of that. I'll give you a good example of it. I knew when I was going north one day that, boy, don't come back this way. Well, I forgot.
You went-
And if the city would put up signs at Northmore Road, 1-lane road,
Yeah.
expect delays,
Yeah.
people then have an opportunity to go on.
Sheridan and
No, at the street that runs east and west. Isn't that terrible?
Lake.
Well, no.
Willow Knolls, yeah.
Knolls, yeah.
Then you have an opportunity to go to Will. And you know what? When I got down the hill, I saw, Roger, you made a mistake. So I quickly turned around and went to Teton Drive, And that's a quick way to
Turn
get
up
to
my
know.
road now,
It came, yeah, I tore through the neighborhood. I was so upset. No. Or turn around and go all the way back up to
Well, no.
Willow Nose and go in that
But that's no
direction.
picnic right now
You
either.
want to avoid the Richwoods area right
Yeah.
now. You want
If
to
you have
avoid.
to go get a plane and fly
Well, I mean,
to
stay on. I mean,
Chillicothe.
I beat it by, I can go either way out of I live on, right
Yeah,
between
you're almost
University
halfway,
and
aren't you?
Knoxville. So I just got to remember to go Knoxville and Sheridan, stay away from.
I was going to stop for a cup of coffee, but your car wasn't in the drive, so
I was out moving around.
do that. Any rate, so that's a great system.
Great
and
system.
safe.
I didn't realize
Even with the system, do you still have challenges from certain motorists who don't know where to go as you
That's the
come?
toughest thing.
Yeah, I wonder what people are thinking sometimes.
They aren't.
They're not, and modern cars are really soundproof, and they don't hear our sirens.
No, that's true.
And they're-
I've seen that.
I've experienced that once because I've got the radio on too loud too.
Yeah,
So I can hear.
and people are watching YouTube videos and stuff going down the road, and
Talking to
they're just not
themselves.
paying attention. So they forget to move to the right. So it's always to the right. 'cause
Always to the right.
We're going to look for a hole on the left to get around them.
Sure.
And so I've been doing this a long time now. I've just watched it get worse and worse and worse, which underscores the importance of putting those ambulances in the right place before the call ever
So they don't
comes
have
in.
to go-
So we don't have to go very far.
One of the things that you do so you shorten response times is you kind of monitor the number of incidents that take place that gives you a better idea of where to put your wagons.
Yeah.
And sometimes they change. I know for a long time you were at Forest Hill and Gale.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's still an important location or whether you've moved, but you do change sometimes based on the information you get.
Yeah, we moved that one a little bit closer to the mall. Yeah, it's all about access to like the interstates and stuff at that one, but we have many, many posts all over town, and we figure out the best places to stash the rigs, and that can even change dynamically, throughout the summertime, wintertime, whatever.
Yeah.
Based on what's going on.
I will tell you, one of the locations that I just mentioned at Gale and Forest Hill, there have been a lot of incidents in that. You may have moved that just to get away from you being the center of attention, for that matter. They've had robberies, they've had shootings and so forth at that, I think, Marathon gas station. And also, you have a familiarity, though you're from Pekin, you've gotten yourself very familiar with the city of Peoria. You know what the hot spots are.
Yeah, we do.
They're hot.
We do, for sure.
We won't mention that, but
We know how to get in and out of them really quickly.
very quickly
too,
for that matter. Josh Bradshaw is our guest. Josh, hang on. We're going to break to bring people up to date with the news and the weather, and then we'll continue our conversation with Josh Bradshaw with Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. And the news at the bottom of the hour this morning brought to you as a service of Morton Community Banks. Over 50 branches across Illinois offering a full range of personal and business banking services. Hometown banks, FDIC insured, so your deposits are safe. Look for the clock tower and you'll know they have time for you, and we have time for the news. Here's Terry Chamberlain.
There was a deadly shooting in Muscatine, Iowa yesterday. 52-year-old Ryan McFarland went on a rampage, shooting to death 6 members of his family. 4 at one location and the others at 2 other locations. When he was confronted by officers on a walking trail, McFarland fatally shot himself. President Trump says he convinced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to halt plans to attack Hezbollah targets in Lebanon after the terrorist organization agreed to stop attacking Israel. However, Israel has said its military operations in Lebanon will continue. In the latest news in the war with Iran, the president is apparently seeking a permanent ceasefire. That's what some national media outlets are reporting, but that hasn't been confirmed by the White House or Trump's social media platform. A big election in California today for governor and mayor of Los Angeles. It appears to be a tight race in both contests. Republican Steve Hilton has a chance to become one of the two top finishers. Democrats believe Xavier Becerra will be their top dog. The race for LA mayor features reality TV personality Spencer Pratt having a good chance to upset Democrat Karen Bass. A former nurse at the University of Michigan Medical Center is under investigation after posting a video threatening to kill President Trump. Rhonda Lee posted a video that contained obscene rhetoric, saying she wanted to slit his throat. Meanwhile, federal authorities say they have identified and arrested the young man who said he was going to kill an ICE agent and his family during a rant at the riots in Newark, New Jersey. Speaking of New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill says many of the editors are from out of state. One of the complaints of the rioters is the claim the illegals are receiving poor quality food. Poor things. In other local news, Tazewell County Coroner Charles Hanley has identified Arlington, Illinois resident Jeff Foster as the fatal victim in the collision of his motorcycle with a pickup truck early Saturday evening. Hanley said the accident happened on Route 9 near Mackinac. Foster was pronounced dead at the scene. Peoria police report they arrested 45-year-old Aaron Cook in the attempted robbery of the five-star fish and chicken eatery on Campus Town May 25th. Cook left without any money, or fish, or chicken for that matter. Good police work led to Cook's arrest 4 days later. Police also arrested 23-year-old Micaiah Baker after she allegedly stabbed a man in the stomach Sunday afternoon following a domestic dispute. Police found the victim in a house on North Sleepy Hollow Road near Mossville. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, thank you, Terry. Now a check of the weather. You know, this is a great time to consider buying your next home. Realtor Kathy Reynolds of Home Smart, eager to help you search the marketplace. Kathy is experienced. She has helped countless couples, families, and individuals find their dream home, and she's available as we speak to discuss the exciting opportunities of looking for your next home. You can reach Kathy at 309-696-2162. Beautiful day today, beautiful week for that matter, sunny and pleasant. High of 85 today, and overnight low 55 tomorrow. It'll be sunny, another 85 Thursday, warmer up to 88, and ditto on Friday, sunny and 88, but look at Friday night, a chance for showers. Not only Friday night, but Saturday night, and Sunday, and maybe Sunday night as well. Right now, our temperature at 66 degrees. 8:35 is our time, and if you're just joining us, we're talking with Josh Bradshaw of Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. You know, we're quite fortunate not only have Advanced Medical Transport, AMT, in our community in Central Illinois, but also a great first responders in the Peoria Fire Department.
Yeah.
The two units work very well to what I consider, with my limited medical knowledge of a few years working in healthcare, is there are a few communities who have such quality first responders in medical emergencies. The two of you work quite well together.
We do.
Don't you?
We do. Every week you'll see their vehicles sitting in our parking lot, and what's going on with that is we get together and we review every cardiac arrest call that we go on.
Do you really?
Yeah.
To see what you did right and what you could have done better, or
and it's all about improving the quality of care. We train with them very frequently, and
do you train them if let's say there's a new member of the fire department? As part of their training come from AMT?
Yeah, we have EMT and paramedic classes in our building, and they send over members who go through that training with us.
Yeah, that's terrific.
And so we're all trained the same way, and on the calls we can really provide quality care because we're working as a machine. Like,
do they have the medications that you guys and gals have?
They do.
Equipped. They do. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Every fire station is an advanced life support station.
You know, we talked earlier that at one time Ace Ambulance and Green Cross used to compete. Do you race with them to an emergency?
We all try to get there really quick, but the really neat thing about the latest agreement with the city is it deepens our relationship with them, and we work more together than ever before.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was a time when that wasn't the situation, but cooler heads prevailed, and as a result, we have an outstanding first responders team in the Peoria Fire Department and Advanced Medical Transport.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how emergency response has changed through the decades. Because it used to be a, very ego-charged, competitive thing, and nowadays it's a very cooperative, collaborative thing, and everybody has this. If there's any competition, it's like
how can we be better?
Yeah, how can we all do better?
Well,
to
we can all
provide
do
the best
better
care?
by working together. No question about it. I mean, that's true of any business or team. Yeah.
We're more focused on emergency care, but you also provide a very important service to those who need transportation to the hospital, to the doctor's office, from the nursing home to the hospital, or from the hospital to the nursing home. Talk about that service as well.
So yesterday we began a partnership with Illini Medical Transport, and they're known as a high-quality provider of non-emergency scheduled transport services in the area.
Yep.
So they are part of AMT now.
Wow.
And their team will continue to provide that service while the blue and white trucks can focus more on the emergency side of things.
Good for you.
So we're separating that out just a little bit so that each side of it can become better on its own.
There's what we're talking about right there.
Yeah, better rather than having, one rig that could go on an emergency call or could go on a non-emergency call. We're more tailoring it so that the patient ultimately gets, the best resource for their situation.
To me, it almost sounds like a good entry-level position for a young person, too.
Definitely.
That you're not going to have to see a four-car pile-up with 3 bodies laying in 3 different directions, and now you can start here and get the feel of it, and we'll move you on up.
Is there and have you practiced in situations where you arrive on the scene and the police department is there and the fire department, and they need to extract someone with the jaws of life? Is there a team effort? Is there a pre-planned plan on who does what in those circumstances?
Yes, that is highly orchestrated too. So generally we will, during the extrication process, focus on taking care of the patient while they're still in the car.
In the car, yeah.
And doing everything that we can for them, and when they get extracted, then the team as a whole focuses on patient care and then getting them transported.
Yeah.
So.
There's one of the focus in providing medical care is trying your best to ease the anxiety and the fear of someone who's trapped in a car, wondering if you're going to get them out in time before the car explodes in fire, et cetera, and so forth. I'm assuming with your 19 years of experience that you've been in situations involving extraction of someone in a vehicle.
Definitely. It happens all the time around here.
Yeah.
Modern vehicles are designed to crumple up, and that ultimately protects people.
Rather than getting thrown out,
Yeah,
Oh,
the vehicle
Interesting.
absorbs the energy. Unfortunately, the vehicle crumples up like a tin can, but it protects the person inside.
Yeah,
So-
who sometimes crumbles up as well, for the matter.
Sometimes.
Not to make light of it. Well, let's talk about personnel. Are you always looking for additional people to work at AMT, or are you pretty well staffed now?
Well, we get busier every year, and so we're always looking for great additions to our team, because there are people have different interests, and like we were talking, we're kind of separating out emergency, non-emergency a little bit more, and people have different passions and things they want to do, and we welcome good quality team members who want to join and contribute to our overall effort in taking care of the citizens.
And part of the interview, you screen them as to whether or not, not just academically, but emotionally, it's a good fit, because it is a high risk, high anxiety job, no question about it.
Yeah, and Peoria is a very demanding system. So it's a good place to get a lot of great experience and really hone your craft as a paramedic and to know how to take really good care of people in crisis situations.
Yes, you
But you still have the program, do you not, that
Yeah.
they can learn and earn at the same time?
We have an Earn While You
a
Learn
great
class
program.
that started in May, and we've got a paramedic program going on right now. We have critical care programs. We have pre-hospital registered nurse programs once in a while. We have all kinds of education going on in our building all the time. Those classrooms are so busy nowadays. It's hard to...
That's terrific. If someone wants to get more information, what do you suggest they do?
I would suggest they visit amtci.org. You can call us at 494-6200. You can walk in the door. You can see us at any number of community events throughout the year. That's about 200 of them. So,
Catch us at an accident.
yeah, if you see us in a parking lot, say hello, wave to us on the road. We love talking to people.
But don't use both hands.
Right,
to wave.
right.
Yeah, keep one hand on the steering wheel. Josh Bradshaw from Medical Transport of Central Illinois, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very
And you
much.
see Andrew Rand, tell him we said hello.
I'll see him in a few minutes.
Okay, tell him we think the world of him. Yeah, we are where we are with AMT because of his leadership.
Yes.
God bless Andrew.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
bet. And God bless you and all the people who work at AMT. Life-saving work indeed. Thank you for coming in. We'll be right back, but first pay attention to our pet tip of the day.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. Have you and your family been considering owning a horse? Do you live where you have the acreage to keep a horse, or will you be renting a pasture and a barn? Remember, you cannot put a horse in a pasture and expect him to live. An experienced horse owner will tell you the horse is a digestive system on legs. They require at least 1/2 pound of good quality forage per 100 pounds of body weight. This means a 1,200-pound horse needs 6 pounds of hay per day, and that amount won't keep him alive. He needs to be supplemented with oats and grains. Water troughs need to be clean and free of bacteria and mosquito larvae. Your horse will need hoof trimming and shoeing, worming, shots, grooming, and teeth care. You will need to manage the manure in the field. You can't just leave the manure, but that's another topic for another day. The barn and stall will need daily cleaning, and you will have to have some way of getting rid of the used straw and manure. Maybe the best choice is to find a riding club and just sign up and enjoy the benefits of riding without all the work and expense. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's pet tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Weather-wise, sunny and pleasant today. High 85. We're up to 67. Hey, this day in history. You can put on your thinking caps.
Okay, good.
Yeah. 1865. What happened on this day?
Just the other day. Boy, that's about
June 2nd.
a lot of land grants colleges were formed around that time.
Well, let's see. the Civil War was winding up.
1865, Civil War time.
Was it involving the Civil War?
Yes, yes, it
Some
was.
remnants of that?
Mm-hmm.
A battle?
No, because in April was when they surrendered Appomattox. Was this involving those some people still didn't know? It was in
war
Texas,
was
maybe?
over?
You know what? You're close enough that I give you credit, both of you. On this day,
June 2nd.
it was an event that generally regarded as marking the end of the Civil War.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Confederate General Edmund Kirby Smith,
Kirby Smith.
commander of Confederate forces west of the Mississippi. Gee, I didn't know they went west of Mississippi. Signed the surrender terms offered by Union negotiators. Now, isn't that interesting? Because don't normally we consider the signing at Appomattox as the end of it, but
Usually,
according to
yeah.
this, the American Civil War ended with Confederate General Smith surrendering to Union negotiators. And with Smith's surrender, the last Confederate Army ceased to exist, bringing a formal end to the bloodiest, how many years?
4.
4 years in U.S. history as an end. The American Civil War began on what day, what month, and what year?
61 then, is that?
1861 is correct, Mike. What was the month and the day?
Was it May?
You're close.
June.
Oh, you're not so
April.
close. April 12th. And what started the war?
Firing on Fort Sumter?
That is correct. Began April 12th, 1861, when Confederate shore batteries under who? I love this general's name.
Confederate General.
Yes. He opened fire. And great name. I love this guy's name.
Burnside?
No? Pierre G.T. who?
Beauregard?
Beauregard. Don't you love that name? I just Beauregard.
That is that true Southern name, yes. Beauregard.
He opened fire on Union-held Fort Sumner in South Carolina's what bay? Name of the famous city. Starts with the letter C.
Charleston?
Charleston, yes. Charleston Bay.
South Carolina.
For how many hours did Confederate guns and mortars fire at the poorly supplied fort?
6.
34 hours.
34. Good grief.
long-
That's
that's a
over a day.
Day and a half.
Confederate guns and mortars launched more than 4,000 rounds.
Oh, boy.
And on April
he started
13th, the commander of the Union garrison surrendered. What was his name?
Jackson?
No? Robert Anderson was the commander, and he said, "I quit." 2 days later, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln issued a proclamation calling for how many volunteer soldiers to help quell the Southern insurrection? In the thousands. Called for volunteer soldiers.
5,000?
Way short.
10,000.
Way short.
50,000?
Short.
60,000?
Short.
80,000?
A little too high.
75,000?
75,000. That's correct. 4 long years later, the Confederacy had been defeated. How many Union and Confederate lives were lost in the Civil War?
Over 300,000?
Yes, more than 300,000.
Oh, my Lord.
More than 400,000?
Higher,
500,000?
higher,
600,000?
higher,
700?
620,000.
That's amazing. I would never have guessed.
Yeah,
I mean, it's almost two-thirds of a million.
yeah. And now you know the rest of the
Think how many
story.
injured.
On this day, the Civil War ended.
I learned some things.
You know what? I'm going to call my son and have him give us some details of what led to the end of the Civil War. We know what started it, and I wonder why they started it. It's because they didn't want to give up slavery in the South. Well, before we wrap things up, can you figure out what in the world, in this case, what in the country is going on that as we celebrate our 250th anniversary, suddenly some people who had agreed to sing at a big concert celebrating our 250th anniversary, that they didn't want to sing because they don't like the President of the United States? Why is it they're focusing on hate
It's the country.
at a time
Plus it's the
when
country.
we should be happy that, yes, we're not the perfect nation, but we're sure in a hell of a lot better than 99.9% of the other countries? All of a sudden, it becomes political. I don't understand what's happening in the
Because
country.
we're going on our second
but-
generation of people that have been raised thinking they're privileged.
Yeah.
The participation trophies, no respect for authority.
That is
No
true.
you
Everything you mentioned is perfectly true, but lack of authority is one of the biggest ones, and I try to emphasize that even with with parents and umpires and referees. Hey, they're in charge. I was always they're the policemen out there.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
that's what I
You're
tell you.
out, you're out.
Nope.
I don't need to see a replay for 8 minutes. You know what I'm saying? During the game, you were called out. You're out. Come on. And a lot of it's become now too. It's a game. Well, I can at least try, and maybe it'll show on the TV that I was really safe. Or what do I have to lose? If I've been called out, I challenge it. They have to go look at it. And sometimes I'm talking about a baseball game, and you got to wait sometimes 5 minutes, and they'll come back and say, "Yeah, he was out." Well, that's what the umpire said.
Yep.
Well, as I say, it's a sad commentary on the country. And
Definitely.
Certain people, if they say, well, I don't like the president, so this is about
like you
celebrating
either.
this
Never said
great
that's
country.
right. We don't like you either, but hey.
Yeah. And now apparently the president says, well, maybe I won't have the concert after all. And usually he doesn't let people bother him, and he proceeds with what he believes is in the country's best interest. And I see the names that we're going to sing. Some of them I never heard of, so I could care less. But there are enough nice people who are out there. And we ran out of time. I was going to call on someone who has sung at the White House on 3 different occasions and at military bases. And
She'd be glad to do it.
We'll do it tomorrow, Kathy. Sorry about that, but we were talking about it yesterday, that how sad it is, and she considered it an honor to be able to sing at celebrations and events. She sang at Ground Zero after that
Just
terrible
think of the nice
tragedy.
events, at Christmas time and all that at
Yeah.
the White House.
I just, what's going on, we've got some people running for public office who, nobody's perfect, but you don't brag about it. And actually, one of the candidates, we won't get into it, admitted that he's seeing a therapist, his wife is seeing a therapist, and then they see a therapist together.
I caught part of that conversation, and I came in the middle of it, and I heard her saying, well, we each have our own therapist, and then we had the marriage counselor, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, it is, and you hear some of the things that are being said, and that's crazy as well. It's just, it's hard to figure out what's going on in the country, but as long as we continue to pray and ask God to intercede and help us through these wonderful yet troubled times, that's our greatest strength, that we can do that. Anyway, I want to thank everybody on our program this morning, starting early with our farm advisor, John Cross from Emden, Illinois, Dr. Gene Sidler, and always a joy to talk to him. Peoria County Sheriff Chris Watkins and Josh Bradshaw and Terry Chamberlain and Mike Olson. And yours truly, live from the room. We'll be back tomorrow with more of the same as we maybe embark on our year-long celebration of our 250th anniversary. God bless America, and God bless all the people who make a point of joining our program. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember, God loves you, and so do we.